That was pretty good. Cool.
All right. Beautiful. Cool. Welcome. Hey, y'all, give yourselves a hand for coming out tonight, supporting local arts and artists. You all are marvelous. This is Poetry in the Brew. I'm your host, Christine Hall. We've been going 11 years in this space. One more hand for Portland Brew East. Patrick and the crew downstairs. Y'all, please be sure to tip them in cash downstairs to show your appreciation. They got food and drink if you want to avail yourself of that. If you want to throw in, this will be floating around tonight. You can also, this is your last chance to get our 10th anniversary anthology direct from us. It's the last Poetry in the Brew. It's my 8th anniversary hosting. We actually have the person who handed the keys to my kingdom here that I tend so lovingly. Chance Chambers, yay! Oh my goodness. So yeah, when Poetry in the Brew started 11 years ago, there wasn't another regular poetry reading series here in town. Oh, hello. You want to sign up? Cool, take it, do it. All right. Also, Chaos. Chaos is here, and he has a book you might want to buy from him. I edited that one. It's a hell of a community we've got here. The show is what you make it. So thank you for making it. We've got a feature in the house, JW Heacock. We got a long list, so everyone mind your manners. I mean, speak freely, but make sure we all allow time because we want to hear from everyone. We'll put our feature up probably around 6 o'clock, and I think we should go ahead and get started right now. Thank you so much, and welcome to the first speaker on the open mic tonight, Francesca Kirkpatrick.
Well, I'm just going to say I sure love Christine and Chance and Chaos, and even though I'm not saying anybody else's name right now, I just want to say I love all of you. And when we did this new book, I came up with a small little snippet called Poetry in the Brew Memories, which now is really good that I have this. It's a short thing, but Poetry in the Brew Memories. Bodies met together to read poetry at Portland Brew East, Nashville, Tennessee. Bodies signed a list to read a poem or two. Bodies gathered once inside, sometimes now Zoom all over the world. Second, I became a prodigal poet because of this Poetry in the Brew thing. So go poet, flow it. And I also developed a new character because of that. We have some superheroes amongst us. So I did a lot of cat things. So I turned into the cat woman just arbitrarily, and it's going to be a great thing because of that. I do the Oracle told me because of that, so that people will understand that one. If you haven't ever heard that, probably you have. Delphi, Greece, on top of a mountain, is where the mythical oracle lives. I asked the oracle the age-old question, who am I really? I look down and I see a cat, and it leaps up to my arms. It purrs and nuzzles against me, smiles up at me, and now I know what I must do. Take care of cats, meow, meow, and show the world love. So she was saying in Snoo here. I was saying new. Sorry, I already say the wrong thing because my tongue is tied. Sorry about that. Because I'm kind of a little sad. But about the thing that inspired this book for me was my body, because I've had lots of health issues, and this has really helped me get through a lot of this. Writing poetry has helped me get through a lot of things. So I decided when she asked for poems about the body, I would talk about that. My body. Here's the needle. Do your best. My body. My body is now a part of the waiting game. No one knows what you have. My body. We will call you when we can fit you in my body. The x-rays, the MRIs, the CTs, the labs, they never end. I don't think I got my rest last night. And the doctors didn't call about my test today. So the waiting game my body plays. Thank you guys. I'm going to miss each and every one of you, even though I know we'll see each other in the poetry community. Thank you. Francesca Kirkpatrick.
Francesca Kirkpatrick, love you and your perspective, and I'm so thankful for you sharing. Yeah, what you bring to the spirit here is real. We feel it. We thank you. Yes. And we keep it flowing now. Welcoming back, and thank you so much, Courtney Bellish.
So I'm going to share two different poems with you today. This first one's called Abuela. I have been trying to learn more Spanish because a lot of my students speak Spanish. So this has a little bit of a verse in Spanish. So I want to translate it for you before saying it. But it says, I can feel the laughter of my grandmother in the rays of the sun, her embrace in the sea. And I say La Mar instead of El Mar as an allusion to Ernest Hemingway's The Old Man and the Sea. He talks a little bit about the ocean being over. So, okay. Crevice, a volcanic rock, an island that erupted, collectiveness's dream. Puedo sentir las carcajadas de mi abuelo en los rayos de sol. Su abrazo en la mar. A reminder that angels guide and protect my every footstep through the sand. An hourglass, timepieces holding me to my center. Regardless of change, I am whole. This one's called The Foundation. No Spanish in the Hammer against nail, punching deep into the layers of the walls around us. The foundation for memories, framed moments, level with eye line in the periphery. My mind hits play, cinematic illusion, in the reflection of the gold embossed mirror across the room. Once again, I hear the shuffle of our feet, the coquettish laughter escaping lipstick-rimmed lips, ocean waves crashing behind the soundtrack of our lives. Filling the room, chisel away the worry, the uncertainty, the loneliness, reassuring, reestablishing, hope in the season of listening, simply being moment by moment. Thank you so much. I do have a poetry book that's on Amazon. It's called To Be Heard. So if you want to support some of my poems, that's where to find the book. But yeah, thank you guys.
Yes, Courtney Bellish, thank you, thank you. Strongly recommend the book. You all have to be filling up your shelves. There is so much good material flowing forth from Nashville poets and going out to see the world. I just saw, as I was posting a pic to Instagram, I have to say, Tiana Clark over there touring Europe with her poetry. She was a feature here once. If you don't know Tiana Clark, you can actually find one of her poems exclusively in our book. You don't want to miss that. Oh my goodness. Next, we get to welcome back a stalwart on the scene, one of my favorites. We all appreciate the voice of Billy H.
Normally, I try to perform something, but I think I'm too emotional tonight to perform. This is the first open mic that I was ever allowed to share. My thanks to Christine and to all of you. I just want to briefly read a few verses that I wrote to honor Christine and the event. And it's simply called Poets in the Brew. No answers, just honest questions that we're afraid of asking. But you just might find some clues at Poets in the Brew. Sometimes painfully funny, always painfully poignant, an unbiased therapy group, Poets in the Brew. You can find help and a lot of hope to keep your dreams afloat, sailing on a sea of ghosts without drowning in booze or blues. You can get higher than a kite every second Saturday night. So bring your wings and dare to fly at Poets in the Brew. No reason, just crazy rhymers, imaginary or surreal. There are no small minds. We are all a big deal at Poets in the Brew. Sometimes deadly serious, always entertaining, empathetic, guilt restraining, Poets in the Brew. I have learned things I never knew from all of you at Poets in the Brew. You can get higher than a kite every second Saturday night. So bring your wings and fly at Poets in the Brew.
Thank you. Keep it going for Billy H. Thank you. I'm gonna do my best to save my tears for later and just let them out in one great gush after I go home and just really coast on the joy of this evening. Beautiful tribute. Thank you. Next, we're welcoming a prodigal poet to the stage. Thank you, Billy H. Wait, we said Billy H. Brandon Long is what I meant. This is Brandon Long.
I will take that compliment, though. Thank you. It's the best thing anyone's ever said about me. Yeah, so all right, I guess one last time here, guys. I just have like two really short ones I just jotted down this past month, so I'm just gonna read them and I guess that's it. This one's called River Rocks. The rain sounds like peace. I want the inside of me to sound like the rain. Steady, calm, no hesitations. A heavy sob, healthy and welcomed. Honest tears, touching everything from the heavy, dark clouds to the pine needles, to the mossy stones, to the bottoms and deeps of this earth. Pain, without shame or guilt or even regret anymore. Just honest pain. Wash me clean, slow and thorough. Erode my jagged spirit, smooth as river rocks. Carve a canyon through me. I have time.
Wow.
Thanks. And this other one, I just like jotted down real quick when I saw Christine posted this on Facebook for the last one. This is just the first thing that came to mind, and I wrote this, and I'm just gonna leave y'all with this. So, it's called Poetry Church. I'll be here for the farewell, not the fair weather. Friends, all of us, and family, fantasy parading through facts, because that's what church is. Poetry, church. That's what this is. A backslidden preacher called us a cathedral of crazy. He's right. My burnt offering this night proffered words of fire, spit from a scalded tongue. A scalded dog couldn't run like this river of rhythm, like life's just begun, right before the sun sets. But nothing's over, just a dramatic pause, purely for effect. Don't try to expect what's next, just trust our shared breath. This is life after death, life after life, from the light heart to the heavy, to the open, even the bleeding. Here's to knowing that sowing must come before reaping. I'll see you all, my fellow believers, one last time at Poetry Church. Thank you. I just want to add, just real quick to that, it's just, man, you know, this place like means a lot to me, and you know, I just don't have the time to give you the whole sob story of how sad I am. This is coming to an end, but you know, y'all are all so precious. Thank you, everybody, for making this possible. And just thank you, Christine. You are just the most awesome person of all time. I just really mean that. So yeah.
Let's hear some Poetry Church. Yeah, I fully agree with that. There is a spirit here. This event has always had its own momentum. I would like to affirm that there will still be an open mic in this time space. Come on back on the second Saturday of every month. Meet with Silence Wordsmith, who will be your new host. She is awesome. Going forward, there's a Facebook group already established where you can keep up. But again, same time space. We've got the music here. I know y'all feel it. It's whoo. Okay, so next, the venerable chaos.
Thank you, Christine. Good evening. For those who don't know, my name is Chaos. I am a Vietnam veteran. So in honor of Veterans Day, which is yesterday, I'd like to share this one with you. It's called A Brother Like. I saw him first at his best or his worst, depending upon your point of view, in elementary school. He and a band of rowdies, a group of much coerced yet well-rehearsed cowards. He was loud, boisterous, obnoxious, while demanding that he of these actions desist. We would all be remiss if we tended to dismiss this as just another attention-getting farce and never give thought to who would be able to love a brother like this living in chaos. Later, I watched as he had learned to play a new game. It was violent, rough, and tough. For here on the football field, he was able to find relief for his vicious and destructive intent. It mattered not if the game was won or lost. The other players thought him boss because of the intensity with which he played. He was even drew him praise, pseudo-love. All seemed able to give love to a brother like this, living and playing with chaos. I saw him next in the bush at Tay in that God-forsaken Vietnam. It was here that he molded the man. As he waded through blood, fear, and death, he carried with him his crew while trying to save himself. He held on desperately to that thing, an M60 machine gun. He could really make it sing. I can still see him running through a sunless cover with fire on his back toward a hearty LV. He was racing an all birds down call. made by some high-ranking cat. They would leave us all here in the dark to die, just like that, fade to black. Suddenly, there came another authorized radio call. Hey, brother, where you at? All birds down, dog. Pop and smoke, I got your back. As we rolled that bird in and gazed into the dark, at all that would have been lost. Here in the bush, we loved and were loyal with one another at all costs. Back in the world, I wander through well-lit places, always smiling faces, into that ever-surrounding darkness, and wondering who would be able to give love to a brother like me. I'd like to do this piece for my friend Honest Lewis, who seems to enjoy it. It's called Counterinsurgent.
Yeah.
I want you. I want you to understand that I'm a man, but I'm seriously flawed. I'm seriously involved in a past that seems always to last. I'm a cold-blooded killer. I fought a war long ago that I can't forget. Barely alive then, I can't live right. I mean, I can't kick drugs. I can't kick alcohol. I can't stop excessive giving. I can't earn a living. Then there are you, my could-be children, with your mothers who understand me not, who with your apathy stop me from building a lasting peace. It seems like the very people I fought to protect are now using themselves against me. It's about the killing so long ago. It's about the goddamn killing. You're still keeping score. And late at night when I can sleep without being in a drunken stupor, that is that scene. It plays itself again and again, only to rewind and play itself continually in my mind. I see my friends and my enemies alike, all sprawled around my bed, all covered in blood, all lying down or dead. Wait a minute. What the hell am I bitching about? You see, it's now tomorrow. I came back. I didn't die. So why, for almost 50 years, do I feel like I'm already dead inside my head? Christine Hall, I managed to compile this poetry with a very wonderful cover art by my friend Henry Jones.
Yes.
Y'all need a little chaos in your life. I'd like to read the second to last poem from this book, which I have used my autobiography. It's called Two. I've now reached that age of 2. I'm too poor to be anyone's sugar daddy. I'm too old to be a Mac daddy. I'm too plain to be eye candy. I'm too outdated to minnow. And I'm too lame to create excitement. I'm only a shell of the man I used to be. I am now exactly who I appear to be. And what you'll get is exactly what you see. I'm not pimping anymore. I'm whoring now. Things I used to do all night now take me all night to do. The difference is that I am now loyal and true in the things I do. So it would seem some things have gone or been compromised by time. Rest assured, however, that what and how have left permanent instructions in my mind. Thank you. My name is Chaos.
Yes! Woo! All right, I see we're out of chairs. I can only think that maybe there's a couple we could grab from downstairs for anybody who does need a place to sit. It looks like we're on the floor again. Oh, like ye olden days. Welcome. I'm so happy. Comfy. We're really grateful for all of you on the sign up list who isn't there yet. Please join the list. Cool. We get to welcome back a voice I am so excited to hear tonight. Someone we haven't seen for a while, but someone we have to thank for the Nashville Poetry Group, Nashville Poetry Events Group, and also visual art and just so much beautiful leadership and good feels. Thank you and welcome, Corey White.
Oh dear. After chaos. And for a second, I was actually gonna do like 2 love poems because people seem to like my love poems, but I like to be a little bipolar with my poetry. Do something serious and then, well, love is serious, so do something less loving and then never mind. I obviously like to speak my mind. What you need to know is her name is Tara Cole. This is called Anguish. Change feels strange, riddled with pain. Spittle on the mouth that's lame, belittled like Cain. Now never able to be stable. Homeless is her label. Innocence lost, you could never figure the cost. A little black girl is all they saw with shame on her jaw, hitting damage on her body, never bothered anybody. She was the opposite of Gotti. No one gave her a chance, not a second glance. No one knew her name or her story. She was lost without glory out on the street, beat, laminated, immune to heat. And now the pain, another unknown name with unfortunate fame. Malice a couple white men delivered, thrown screaming into the cold Cumberland River. They like, F that little, oh Father, rest, I guess, is the only thing they give her. Found afloat in the summer coat. Hope wasn't in her body language. She floated, was bloated, filled with anguish. Strangest things happen while napping. Never rest, I guess, is the lesson. Never ever miss your blessing. Rest and realize that you're left behind. Where's her justice? Care about just this. Fair is nothing missed. To share is God's wish. It's God's wish. That one bothers my heart a little bit.
Wow.
Whew. Anyway, I do this one because people seem to love this one. I think this is a lot of people's favorites for mine. I was gonna do this other one, but anyway, this one's called 2 Light Beams. I love this one too, so I'm not trying to act like I don't like it. Two light beams, dream us, happiness and trust. So you're my wish for bliss, so meditate on this. Oh Lord, please let this be true. Me in love with you. You glow as if you're just right, like lightning strikes at night. Seeing you for the first time like blind sight. With you, everything seems to go right. You're like a prayer that came true. Real love through and through. We seem as 2 light beams emanating from one another. I want you no other. Mother of our cloud, our heartbeats while the sun peeks through. You knew me before I knew you. Unable to tell us apart. 2 sides, 1 heart. Your end is my start. Parts of us ongoing forever, glowing together, never to be severed. I now know what life means. See, it's seen through cracks and seams, penetrating dreams, just like 2 light beams, focused on each other. I do see you as more than just my lover. See, we are whole. I'm one half and you're another. I'm now brother to the earth. Do you know what my life is now worth? This sun shines on me so bright I cannot see. You knew me after I knew you, unable to tell us apart. Two sides of one heart. My end is your start. Parts of us ongoing forever, glowing together, never to be severed. See, I now know what life means. Seen through cracks and seams, penetrating dreams, just like two light beams, focused on each other. I do see you as more than just my lover. We are whole. I'm one half, and you another. This brother to the earth comes down as my words escape me. It comes lately after I forget the things that I said once. But now, when my heart stops, when your heart stops, you have mine, unable to tell us apart. Two sides of one heart. My end is your start. Messed that one up. I'm gonna try to do this one real quick because I kind of messed that one up. Anyway, this is called Love Poem. Hopefully I can't remember all of this one. Anyway. A poem to love. It's the meaning of life. It's always right. It's there in the air where you knew it to be. It's in you, it's in me, it's where we should be. We can have it whenever we want it, but we run, we hide, we decide not to take the risk. We basically run away from bliss. If you had any questions, it truly does exist. It's God. It's good all the time. It's what keeps me whole and saves my mind. It's the only thing that has truly gotten me out of the bind. It's creation over destruction. It's my foundation and my function. It's willpower over seduction. It's a whistleblower in corruption. It's a baby that's been breastfed. It's a servant of God that's been led. It's the only reason why there's power in the words, I love you. Love, I love you.
Yeah. Oh, thank you, Corey White. So fucking good to hear you again. Thank you for coming. Thank you, each of you. Thank you for what you are making this, what you have made this sacred, holy communion. Holy, holy. Thank you. We are next going to welcome a voice that you can also check out in print in this book. Thank you. Hello, Carolyn Connolly.
Hi, guys. Like many of us, this was my first ever open mic I ever did to share my poetry, and it truly did change the trajectory of my writing life, which I am forever eternally indebted to each of you for. So thank you so much. Yeah, and I feel like I'm normally doing sad poems up here, so this is my attempt at a love poem for this last Poetry in the Brew. So yeah, sometimes I think it's about a person, sometimes I think it's about a feeling, but more times than not, I think I'm writing about poetry when I'm written this. So here it goes. All right. I'm going to need you. In the coming days, need your pronounced Cupid's bow, the sweat beating and strung, only to fall back into my open mouth, only to give it back again. I'm going to need you most when I'm lying in bed, sick, alone, when I'm as unknowable as the lake dragged for bodies. I'm going to need your cold hands, shocking me awake. Their soft flutter against the skin of my stomach, need their quiet searching, scrambling for purchase. I'm going to need you to call me lovely, call me dear, darling, little bug, to call me complicated, insatiable, reckless, to call me selfish, but only when it's true, to call me annoying, but only when I've taken the joke too far. Call me sentimental, sad, call me baby, but only when you're inside of me and desperate for hope, to call me love and mean it. I'm going to need you. Plain and simple, especially when it rains and I've forgotten the umbrella in the car. I'm going to need you when I get insecure and talk too much. I'm spooling off the latest fact I've learned about white nose syndrome and bats and how a broken heart chemically alters the brain. And I'm going to need you to pretend you're interested, even as I begin a story I've retold many times, as I bury the lead, slur my words, as I reveal the shadow was just a tree branch, and you lose faith in my ability to tell you the whole truth. I'm going to need your quirks, your upturned lip, your warm shirt. I'm going to need you in the coming days to love me to a kind of stillness, perhaps one just like this. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Carolyn Connolly. You never failed to move me. We next welcome, with great thanks, William Garrett Lee.
About that weather, right? All right, so I'm really bad at titling poems, so most of these are untitled. So I'm gonna read 3. This first one, it's untitled. It's about God. Blessed is the organ at the crest of the mountain, singing to the rocky pews below. She proclaimeth that which the human voice cannot nameth. I wrote that because it sounded funny. That which English, nor any other blasphemous tongue, for that matter, cannot condescend to erroneously comprehend or baselessly condemn. How could the canyon of the mind stand tall without the mountain that is the universal body, sitting patiently in our company? I thank the mountain for the adverb, the holiest of speech. In spite of our redwood ignorance, complacency, our undying assurance of infallibility, and our inability to accept the river eroded our rocky walls millennia ago, our pipes sing into the clouds, snow into the Alps, whistle through the pines, paint the sunsets, fly with the crows, swim with us, and fill our ears with melodies we think we played alone. I guess I'll drink coffee. All right, this one's Love and Jazz. It is a love letter to jazz. Here we go. What of jazz? Pardon my distaste, for what pleasure can one derive from such chaos, from such random precision, from such fervor, but that of a similar sensation to love? Each soft kiss, a buttery note from the alto sax, heartbeat syncopation in unison with the snare of each polyrhythmic tender touch. I hang on to the dissonant notes her piano eyes perform, resolving to close mine altogether in fear of consonance. Not to mention your shrill trumpet voice whispering an I love you melody. God, I hate jazz. So why don't you come over? We'll listen to Louis while Coltrane and I cook up something good, and we'll stuff our bellies full of love and jazz.
Yeah.
All right, this is a haiku I wrote while I was driving to a funeral. So here we go. What if the sun found itself in the sky after God drank too much milk?
Ooh, hey! Thank you, William Garrett Lee. So good to hear you. Oh, another voice I have been missing. Really grateful to hear from you tonight. Thank you and welcome. Morning, Isa, our good friend Chrissy.
Formerly Morning Gypsy, but like as you grow and somebody tells you that's highly offensive as an empath, you can't just like stand on it. So it's now Morning Isa. So a little backstory. I first came here in 2018. I was living in a halfway house after I got my first drug charge. I came up here, I found my voice in this very room, and I haven't lost it since, and I've been dope free since as well. I'm living, breathing proof that art saves lives.
Yeah.
Whew. I will not cry. That's such a lie. I am also really bad at titling my poetry, but this one conveniently is like daggers.
Ooh.
Dreams are like daggers, piercing the veil made of unbreakable painted glass, tempered in lava magma memories swirling. merry-go-round of what if, not evers, could have, making another. No better choices, maybe just different. Dreams are like deers, stag, stopped, headlights created from sand. Slowly slipping through my fingertips, hourglass-shaped illusions, glass cracking, water poised down, forming a puddle where I wash my feet. Moments to lifetimes. I feel dirty and then clean. Dreams are like whistles, the ones that only your dog can hear. Silence is deafening, and dreams are like cats. Relaxed, cuddled in your lap, and then a sudden noise, and they're running so fast they can't catch themselves from sliding across a floor made of the same glass. The one reflecting the sun to wake me from this funhouse made of the mirrors that almost killed me in the waking world. Dances with the same moon that ignites my intuition again and again. I say thank you to the dream warriors and weavers. I find within my heavy eyelids my phoenix spirit and my prism heart, for dreams are my art. So it's been a thing of mine, except for when we were on quarantine, to come and do poetry right around my birthday. My birthday is the 8th of the month this month. And so that's why I was coming. And then I found out this was the last one for Poetry in the Brew. So it made me think about finding my voice. So I wrote this afternoon. Finding the lost one through the echo. From a whisper developed a tone, a pitch, still resistant, ever changing, growing louder with each syllable, letters taking form. A flesh drum, versatile, complex speaking tongue. Visions of this muscle, pulsating, throbbing, salivating, crimson, fork-tongued mother. Speech is fucking necessary, daughter. Power of words gives you a choice, birthing a leader through spells we speak and charms we chant. We crack the very foundation of this decaying system. No, 2 letters bringing about demolition. Silence has its place. We hold it gently with dignity and grace. Then there are times where only fuck, shit, and goddamn will do. So we spew and we puke out the words so violently, the very authenticity suffocates any peace in the room. No, you can't copy, paste, and recite. In this moment where memory and desire collide, we bring fire to every sound, shooting sparks, with a mouth that's desert dry, but it's still the spit flies, because a poet's tongue is where truth resides. One more. The love of a mother. These words spoken in a foreign language to me. Mother meant confusion, hardship, pain, addiction, fear, and illusion. It was an empty place. It was a place filled with sadness, anger, and denial. It was a place where memory sparked a smile only every once in a while. It was a place where trust went to die. Until my true mother came. Her eyes fierce, her tongue dripping blood, her grin was haunting. She reached into my dreams and pulled out a little girl, leaving oceans of tears on her lap. Deafening screams she gave back as mantras. She taught me to chant the tunes back to humanity. She taught me naked should never come with shame. She taught me to walk through taller, stronger, especially when you're afraid. She taught me connection comes in all shades. She taught me to dance in such a way my skin fell away, making love to the cosmic waves of pure ecstasy. She is the movement I became. She is the drum that I bang. Boom, boom, bang on my skins. She splits me open again and again. My only response is gratitude.
Ooh.
I love you, Mama. I say her name over and over. Her many names are waves across my lips, flowing rivers of blue vashuti, heart to womb, dripping down my thighs. My tongue is ripped from my clenching jaw, pounding with freedom as it drops. She wraps me in lotus skin and holds me gently against her breast. She is where ferocity mixes with innocence. She is motherly love, and I am devoted to her and she to me. Ma Kali, Ma Devi, Mahavidya Kali, liberating me.
Morning, Isa. Thank you. Oh, my soaring heart. So much appreciation for you. So, our next poet is something special, aren't we all? But really, this one, let me tell you something. We have him to thank for this thing being a thing at all. Back in 2011, some very kind poets founded this here event, and one of them carried that torch and passed it on and visited us from time to time, doing things such as offering a successful proposition or proposal, as it were. Hey, we welcome back with great thanks, Chance Chambers!
Wow. I'm probably going to ramble a little. A lot of emotions for me in this room. As Christine mentioned, I got engaged here. Stole that from Joseph Powell. He did it first. And so many people through the years, so many faces, so many poets, been around to see so many people find their voices. We were talking a little earlier, a lot of things in Nashville has changed, but returning back up here, this room feels the same. It even looks a lot the same. And I'm grateful. I'm grateful for the time that I was able to be involved and helping out with this reading. And I'm grateful to Christine, who took this reading and took it to new heights and just really ran with it and nurtured it. And I mean, look at this. And I moved to Birmingham in 2020, and this is coming to the loft is a homecoming for me in a lot of ways. So I'm really glad I could be back here, and I'm really looking forward to seeing what Christine does next. Congratulations on and best wishes on your next chapter. And I know that this room will continue to nurture a reading. I mean, the energy's here. The good ghosts are here. It's going to continue, And I won't be here as much because I'm out of town, but I know you guys will carry on. And I'll definitely be checking in on Facebook and maybe popping back in. But anyway, so I'm going to read at least one poem. And this one's kind of about endings and beginnings. It was partially inspired by the Saturn 1B rocket on I-65 between Nashville and Birmingham. My wife's from Birmingham, and we moved back there to be with her family, and we were traveling back and forth, and that rocket kind of became a symbol of our relationship for me and the traveling back and forth, and I still love that. I've heard rumors that they might tear it down. I sure hope that's not true. Anyway, this is called St. Iggy and the Rocket. Iggy sips his coffee cold through a stirrer. Says he likes it that way. When a thing ends, when it falls apart or dies, there's a light, he says. Like fireworks, I say. And he tells me that Roman candles and bottle rockets are as useful as saints hanging next to dog tags. Says they sound like war but fade too fast. I start to tell Iggy about the time I stood in a field untouched by highway and city lights, nothing but fireflies and stars meeting on a black canvas mix of night, trees, and sky. I start to tell him how alive I felt there as we passed the I-65 rocket in Elkmont. But he reaches for the radio, turns it up to hear Elton tell us Mars is no place to raise kids. My hand surfs the wind outside the passenger window, and I wonder if Elkmont is a good place to start a family. The dark access road, an interstate church, the gas station with more beer and soda posters than windows, the houses dark before dusk. How many things have ended at this exit? How many highway liberated souls have climbed the rest stop rocket? When I'm certain Iggy is wrong about light and death, something small and hard slams against my middle finger. I jerk my hand inside the car and check for blood. Instead, the severed abdomen of a firefly glows, unblinking like a stone from a mourning ring below my second knuckle. Thank you. I think I'll do another Birmingham/Nashville poem, if I can find it. So when I moved to Birmingham, I just discovered this place called Rock and Roll Sushi. Got all excited about it, album covers for menus and stuff. I lived in Midtown for a decade and a half or something. And there's a Rock and Roll Sushi over there on 21st Avenue here in Nashville. But I came to associate it with Birmingham. So I was like, whoa, this is a cool Birmingham place with this theme and stuff. Anyway, they have a sushi roll called Axl Rose. They have this theme with different rock artists and dishes. So this is called a sushi roll named Axl Rose. If this universe is a simulation, who wrote the code for a sushi roll named Axl Rose? And why does the singer at Overtime Grill and Bar know Little Wing but not Dead Flowers? Why does McCartney's bass rattle my left back speaker when I turn up Rain on a drive to Piggly Wiggly? Then there's my mind, which needs the tether of sound, needs music to tuck under my skin and distract me from the lines of code I want to forget. 53 years of songs I carry like God's mixtape to the other side of the world and back to Elliston Place, where I choke on the myth of perfect soundtrack scenes under a marquee epitaph for the ones who left the game. The ones like Chip, who always told me to turn up my amp after we opened for him at a club now called The End. That's where I began. Black Squire strap against my stomach, college radio sacrament in my mouth, everything loud to hide the fear which fell away when my body surrendered to adrenaline. Years later, Chip and I conjured planetary transmissions with guitars and effects pedals in a shed behind his house. A communion as noisy as the end of time, as fleeting as a final breath. Was the diabetes a cruel Easter egg? Sometimes I'm not sure if my memories are of dreams or real moments. I vibrate at a frequency between the certainty of a clean mask I push against my face and the flux of all the songs I've heard only once. I wonder if I was in that shed at all, on that stage. Ever heard a song called Dead Flowers? If this is a simulation, I expect an electric rainbow body when I die. My flesh disappeared into all the colors of sound. My code wiped clean and nothing left of me but the fading glow of a dusty vacuum tube.
Oh, wow.
Thanks. Thank you. I almost forgot to do this. How could I not do this? Do I have time for one more? Okay. This last one is just a poem that I associate with Nashville. So I've been reading it for 3 years at readings. I think I can do it by memory. I guess we'll see. It's called, I never liked the title of it. I called it Stupid Summer back when I wrote it. This summer, the ground tore apart and we fell into the earth like swirling leaf copters into the blazing July sun. The sun is, after all, underground, down being up and up being down. At least it was this summer. I remember it all. Square view master scenes backlit by disbelief and numb acceptance. I remember the burn of a tear on my neck, never to fade. 1/6 of a casket in my hand, still tugging down. Ultimatum popsicles sucked to the stick. Pink cemetery clouds. I remember the way you laughed at my tie, standing next to wreaths. I was glad. I heard about the final sigh. It blew us into a tent with folding chairs. Banjo hands peeled away the flower from my lapel and handed it back. Dutiful. I remember gunmetal promises, latex regrets, hypodermic clarity. This summer, the sky split open and we walked through river streets like fish with legs looking up at the gray ocean. The ocean is, after all, in the sky, high being low and low being high. At least it was this summer. Thank you.
Oh,
Thank you, everybody. I'm very honored, and thank you for coming.
ooh, wow. Yeah. Let's hear it again for Champ Shamrock. How phenomenal is that? Oh, man. Wow. Okay, so we'll put up one more on the open mic and then we'll hear from our feature and then we'll finish out our open mic list, which is a long one. But if there's anybody who isn't on it yet and wants to join, we do want to hear from everyone. And this is the last chance under the official auspices of Poetry in the Brew. So yeah, definitely. There's a list. Get on it if you want. We want to hear you. But next, we welcome, so gratefully, Lily Phillips. Is this your first time on our mic? First time or what?
Hi, I'm Lily. This is my first time, and it's my first real open mic too. So.
Amazing. Thank you.
Okay. So my first poem is called Working Title, and it's about procrastination. At 1,000,000 miles a second, the earth spins, all energy and commotion, a passion unbridled. About the water splashes, as gravity struggles to keep pace. There I sit, atop the hill, so still, so quiet. As the earth moves about, lapping the sun in the blink of an eye, the world does not stop to wait. I grip the roots and grass as to not be flung away, like a child on a merry-go-round, skidding through the dirt when I fall. In my room, the magazines rest, perused but unread, the dust on my shelves making artifacts of my belongings. My vanity busts, full of lacquer and ribbons and precious adornments. My bed squeaks, my chair squeaks. The leg of my desk scratches the unpolished hardwood, digging in like nails down a back. My bookmark taps its feet at the halfway point, pacing about the exposition, yearning to be useless in that moment between books. My fingers graze the blood-through pages, the indents of my words through the sheets. They look better backwards. I am so hateful of tomorrow, a lack of resolve. I wish I'd wake up all anew, clean sheets, clean hair, empty of responsibilities, empty of thought. Let me be a doll in a box, behind a thin veil of cellophane, waiting to be bent. Let me turn on the light to see a stranger in the mirror, a stranger whose flaws I've not yet recognized, whose words I've not yet written. Let me be an energy kinetic. Today I forge a path, claiming each step as mine, taking credit for these thoughts, plagiarizing my own breath. I breathe in familiar squares, in, out, in, out. I look to name the things all around. The skin on my hand grips the grooves in the paint, feeling for friction and solid fruition. I shower, I eat, I sleep, to rest rather than to burn away the time. Give me the motivation, and I'll pull sword from stone. I'll slay the goblins and dragons. I'll be a prince. Someday I'll come. Someday I'll win. For now, I wait, atop the hill. Let the world keep spinning. I can't seem to care. Thank you. I have one more. And this one is sort of about, it's called On Liking a Woman. And it's sort of about how navigating crushes on women, it's hard to differentiate between like, do I like this person or do I just want to be them? So that's what it's about. On liking a woman. You are voltaic, like a dancing flower with solar fuel and a neck of rusty springs perched eye level and covered with a shriveled sheet of dust. The shape of your name is so captivating, and it sounds like the alphabet backwards and feels like jealousy on my tongue. Your armor is so shiny, I want to try it on, feeling its weight, each curl of welding crunching into my skin. I think you exist behind glass. I think your gauntness is fragility. I think I want you more than anything. You are the book I read before bed, the sheep I count, and the eidolon I dream. You are the best enigma, and I can't distinguish if it's spite or lust. But one day I'll know. When I find your lips don't taste like cherries, they just taste like lips.
More for Lily Phillips. Yes, thank you. Oh, hey. Woo-hoo. Oh my goodness. Happy to see you all. Oh, we've got a good special feature here to close us out this November. Close out the brew on the whole, not the evening, because we're going to keep going and going and going. And I'm looking so forward. But let me tell you about this one. I've been trying to get this one to feature for years. He told me no once upon a time. I'm really honored he said yes this time. So I'll say the name. Y'all might know him. JW Heacock. What? Yeah, first applause, and then we're going to say a couple more words. He is very widely published and, in fact, also was National Parks Foundation Artist in Residence at Gettysburg National Military Park. Pretty cool, that. And good timing yesterday being Veterans Day and all. We've heard some beloved poetry on that subject. But, you know, we're going to go all around with JW tonight because his travels have taken him from the exotic locales such as the malls of Boca Raton, the suburbs of Connecticut, southern dive bars, Bible Belt strip joints, the excuse-littered moral battlefield of law school to the literal battlefields of Iraq. So he's got some interesting words cooked up for us, sprinkled in with some lies. Who are we to judge? We have only thanks. And such a great welcome for our feature tonight, JW Heacock.
Thank you so much. No, I'm good. I was listening to that. I'm like, wow, that guy sounds interesting. I think I might have fudged a little on some of this stuff. I am honored to be the featured poet on this last evening. And I describe Christine as the founding mother of Nashville's poetry community. But in reality, we have a lot of founding fathers and founding mothers. And it's nice to see so many of them here, faces that I know from poetry, faces I know from work, faces I know from school, friends from near and far. And I think that really shows how much poetry creates a community, and that the art goes out, but it also anchors and in some ways infects in a really good way the community and the places and the people. And it creates this fabric. And I'm glad to be part of that fabric. And I'm glad you're here too. And know that this will continue, that this chapter is closing, but a new one will begin. So, by the way, a couple people, I think some of my friends here were puzzled. They're like, JW, like, is John trying to be cool? But when I started writing, I decided that I didn't think it was relevant whether the author had a penis, a vagina, or anything else. And I hated the fact that authors, you knew, like, male, female, however they identified. So I went with the initials. Then J.K. Rowling did it, which was really cool, and then it became not so cool. So it's very confusing. So the first poem I'm going to do is the first poem that I ever finished. And by finished, I mean anyone that's ever done art. And I'm thinking about Henry in terms of painting and people who sculpt and write. When is it done? When do I add some more words? When do I take it away? And this is one I said what I wanted to say. And oddly enough, this is a radical poem because it rhymes. I believe it's the only poem I have here tonight that rhymes. And it actually got published. So I encourage people, if your poems rhyme, try to get them published. Apparently it's very easy. So this is called Heaven. Devil's teeth, angels weep. You have to like the afterlife. Free will's a joke. There is no hope. Predestination? Nope. Merely holy masturbation. But if I play my cards just right and hedge my bet with Pascal's wager, I'll reunite with the ones I love, even if I didn't love my neighbor. That was technically a sonnet, by the way. 14 lines and rhyme scheme and all that crap they teach at master's degree. So this is another sonnet. And that sonnet was very short. This one's so wide I had to put it sideways. And since that one was called Heaven, this one's called The Atheist's Prayer. I never believed in magic, silly card tricks, or pulling rabbits from hats. Although as a kid, I did see a woman get sawed in half by chemo and radiation and the burrowing sores within her. No list for Santa, nor whispered pleas to saints. I scoffed at voodoo incantations that could transform mere syllables murmured by a shaman or priest into mystic power. What deity hears only pleas from a chosen flock? Why is pride in man such a sin, but the demand for docile worship acceptable? These questions haunted me from the cradle and drowned wise and simple faith in a riptide of dueling tomes and Bibles. But if the proper supplication would let your eyes close once without clenching, grant you a single hour of placid repose or a breath that was not shallow or strained, if the proper sacrifice set in the right direction would lessen by even an instant the constant sear of blessed poison dripping into your veins to vanquish unholy pain, I'd fall weeping upon my knees in grateful surrender and not rise again until vowing to wear the hair shirt or yarmulke or hijab or ashes and scream your name daily bent over in prayer. I started trying to write novels and short stories, and I started doing poetry. And a couple of my friends asked me why, so I was like, okay, I'll write a poem to explain why I write poetry. Mm-hmm. This is called Wind Sprints. I write poetry for the same reason a marathoner takes yoga or a football player ballet. As a novelist in training, hoping to keep my slow twitch muscles suitably supple, so that when every joule of energy has been fracked from the swollen hamstrings of my plots, Achilles tendons of dramatic tension and cramped calves of character development, I will still have sufficient reserves that my verbal grandiosity will cause you to sigh so loudly, your gasps drown out the sounds of shin separating from bone.
Wow.
Usually the crowd here skews pretty young, though it obviously spans quite the spectrum tonight and often. So this is a slightly nostalgic, it's got some 90s music references in there, so I feel like I can get away with it. This is called Hostile Regret. Hostile spelled Hostel.
Ooh, yeah.
So not angry. Hostile Regret. Yellow earphones fork as we listen to Letters to Cleo off a Walkman cassette. Sitting back to back on a packed train to Nice, her pink streaked locks cascade like promises over our dromedary shoulders in the navy waves of my cable net. Here and now echoes across oceans and decades, finally landing as an itchy tug along my cheekbone. I really should have married her, or at the least, asked. This is the only poem where I tried to make it look cool on paper. I think this looks cool. But there's a reason, and that is I lived in East Nashville since 2001, a month before 9/11. I moved over. And some of you that are here may have noticed it's getting kind of different from sort of the working class, kind of more diverse place than it was 20 years ago. So I was driving through Lockland Springs, which has always been the scourge of my attitude. And I just saw some stuff, and I went home and I wrote this down. And I said, but you know what, Lockland Springs, it's so pretty. Like, everything's nice and neat. And so I said, I'm going to write a poem about it that's really not flattering, but I make it look cool. And this actually got published in a snooty publication. So again, I encourage you, send stuff off. Someone's going to screw up and publish it. So this is called My Neighborhood. I live in a neighborhood where children run barefoot behind white picket fences and lawns are dotted with "Be Kind" signs and LGBTQT sunflowers. All the Priuses have clever bumper stickers, and immigrants are assured, you're welcome here. Sunday mornings mean Jason Isbell serenades and mimosas on the back porch, though the rocking chairs on the front porch remain empty. People can tell you the name of their councilman, mayor, and congressperson, but not their mailman or who lives 2 doors down.
Wow.
Now, as you can see, I put things on paper because I'm a grumpy old man with bad eyes and technological issues, among others. But I am going to do one off the phone, and that's because I decided the last minute to do this. And it's called Elegy to Miriam Mirzakhani. And nobody knows who that is, right? Nobody knows who Miriam Mirzakhani is. But she won the Fields Prize in 2014, which is the highest award in mathematics. And I'm a nerd. I find those things interesting. She was a professor at Stanford, and she's the first woman to win the Fields Prize and the first Iranian to win the Fields Prize. And she died a couple years ago. And it just hit me really hard because I just felt the loss to the world. Someone that made such a contribution in an area where every mathematician will be moving forward because of it. And I thought, I don't know, it just stuck with me. And I wrote a poem, and nobody will publish it because nobody knows who she is. But I also thought it really represents well for today, because Iranian women and Persian women and Middle Eastern women are fighting and standing up and changing things. And I think it just gets ignored. So, and she died of breast cancer, which of course is a cancer that, let's face it, if penis cancer was as common as breast cancer, every football team would have a pink uniform every single week. So this is my very short but heartfelt poem, Elegy for Miriam Mirzakhani. Farewell too soon to a beautiful mind that, when faced with a knot of infinite dimension, hacked the Gordian trap with regal sword and muttered spells, and unraveled its thread to reveal swirling fractal paisleys spun with pure reason, and wove ornate Persian tapestries that fluttered over distal Arab dunes and made spiders weep with envy and awe. There are a couple of veterans here today, and I'm a veteran, and this is obviously the day after Veterans Day, and I've talked with several of the folks here, and Chaos really, I think, graced us with that work that I've heard a couple times, and every time it hits hard. So this is my long veteran tale, and I have a lot of works or poems that deal with it, but I want to be sort of like a veteran artist. And so it's called 40 Days in a Wake Up. And a wake up is a term that's common in the military because if it's when you're ending something generally miserable, like basic training or deployment, when you're counting down the days, if it's a week later, you don't say, okay, in 7 days we go home. You say 6 days and wake up. It's basically, you know how kids, when they're, can't wait till they're 8, they're like, I'm 7.5, I'm 7.75. It's the military version of that. But it really signifies the fact that you're going through something pretty miserable. But the thing is, once you're through it, and I think the veterans here can say, there's this weird nostalgia for how it brings you together and how it makes you feel, and it forces you to see things differently. So this is one I wrote when I was in a master's program, and my professor, a very noted poet, said, I like it, but is it poetry? And I can't think of a stupider question. If it sucks, say, I hate it, is it poetry? Okay, I get it. I need to fix both of those things. But if it works, who cares? We classify too much stuff. So maybe it's poetry, maybe it's not. I don't care. So this is called 40 Days in a Wake Up. And it's about my time in Iraq. Doc measured 126 in the shade, dry bulb temp. So at least we get to roll sleeves and unbloused boots. Can't have another heat casualty or the CO will make us drink water only. No more energy drinks. So the first sergeant comes every 4 hours and makes us drink full canteen right in front of him. A grown-ass man babysitting other grown-ass men. Just our luck. Me, Parker, and Smitty got a perimeter patrol today. I'm in the turret in full battle rattle. My goggles lenses sandblasted into a sun-kissed shattered kaleidoscope. Parker drives and Smitty is team leader. Kevlar's perched on stiff knees, spitting dip into Gatorade bottles. I cough up dust since my chest presses against my vest ceramic plates. Flesh recoils at the sear, just for a second. Horse flinching to escape the burn. Kind of nice when it stops. Not much to see this patrol. Waves of dull sand, old mortar road shells on the road shoulder, green paint flaked like coconut skin, trigger wires rusted like split ends or fireworks. We call EOD and wait. They tell us to detonate in place. Doc says, no, not our job. So we throw rocks. Parker got closest. 2 hours of waiting, Smitty says, fuck EOD. Pulls out his 9mm. I'll take the ass chewing. A dud. At least it's not a pressure plate. Those bastards are impossible to see. Fat, sandy blurs like bashful geysers. We stop a few times to drink monsters. I prefer Rippets. Parker only drinks water. Had heat stroke last month. He's got red tape over his name tag, so the medics give him the IV first. I piss on our tires, just to mock his weakness, that red badge of softness. Smitty lights a smoke and smiles. Don't matter, it's 120 plus. I wish my addiction made me that happy. Packs of scrawny dogs run up, too proud to beg, just making inquiries. Parker wants to shoot them. I say, I'll choke you in your sleep if you try. He knows I mean it too. I hate that sick fuck. Back at the fob, the lieutenant says since we ran this shit duty, no more long patrols this week unless we fuck up. I already know I'll forget my hat at the chow hall or forget to salute some full bird. So we get sent back out. That's punishment for my fuck up. Smitty takes off his armor and says, I hate this fucking place. I say, me too, fucking shithole. But I lie. I can't let anyone know how much I love the sand, the blaze, the dust, or they'll take it from me. I don't want to shoot anyone. Thank God I haven't this month. But I will if I have to. Kill or be killed, it's the law eternal. But who wants to kill when there's so much life out there? Can't others see it, feel it, breathe it? Sharp gray bushes, stiff brown grass poking skyward over an endless flat nothing. But 5 minutes of rain makes the brown brush explode into green mortar shells, showering emerald buds over shimmering sand. It's a gift. Kind of like that stripper who said I was cute, gave me free lap dances when she heard I was heading over. Kissed my cheek and whispered, be safe, and I'll pray for you. I'd pray for her too if I whispered my wishes into thin air. Then the sun comes back, color evaporates, olive shoots recede, in the gray hard bark, like kangaroo rats stuck inside burrows or me kicking dirt over Mountain Dew bottles. Poison spiders and skinny dogs, ribs shut out with pride. Tough motherfuckers, survivors. In a smelter of natural selection, one false step, they're lunch, and someone else survives to be fittest. Here heat melts fear and doubt. Drink water or die, eat or die, focus or die, fight or die, or die. God, I love it. That's what I think in Chapel Sunday. I go despite icy AC that makes me sleepy, but better than being on gate duty or KP. That creepy chaplain's always saying, if you want to hurt yourself, you can always talk to me. Fat chance, you pussy fobbit. Sermon today is about Jesus in the desert. 40 days, just him and the devil. I know the guy's trying to connect, but he never leaves his tent and air conditioning. What does he know of temptation or fear or the desert? Maybe Jesus liked the flaming sands, the ever-watching sun, the scratchy air, the way I do. Maybe he revered the tenacious mice, the indestructible flies, the dead blades of grass hidden in dust, waiting for water to escape and shake fists at a vengeful sun. 40 days and 40 nights lost in wandering, fighting that devil, or talking to him. Same thing, right? That's how long Noah sat in his ark sailing a wooden cruise ship while the whole world drowns. Another sick fuck, napping as we flounder, the waves rising, rats down a sewer. Maybe Jesus' time in the desert was peaceful, a respite, a friggin' vacation, brought him an all-encompassing calm like the one I have now. 40 days in the desert, to God's boy? It's like us humping a 10-mile road march. Water every 2 miles, rest at 5. No problem, Sergeant. Drive on with the heart on, Sergeant. But does not kill me, makes me stronger, Sergeant. If that's true, he came out stronger, tougher, damn near invincible. A few days of suffering, no big deal. Too easy, Sarge. A little hazing only makes you one of us. Did Jesus smile as he drove those nails into the shallow furrow below his wrist, knowing that it was only weak, puffy flesh that he could betray with a kiss? Did Jesus laugh at the joke of bitter, praying meat sacks trying to hurt a superhero who could fly through fire, walk on water, and turn it to wine? Big bank robber bullets bouncing off an S on his chest. Did Jesus smirk as they shoved the spiked crown upon a blood-trickled head? You'll be sorry you did this, knowing this does not end well for you. It's not like thorns and nails are kryptonite, or their tears of pity could weaken him. Whose passion was this? 3 days to resurrect for him who's going home on leave, a long weekend pass, desk duty at the CQ, plus a wake-up. God's kid just drove on, embraced the suck, stayed in his lane, and finished out his tour. Pain is just weakness leaving the body, Sergeant. Was the whole mission an urban legend to keep us angry and obedient, listening to the powers that be, just following orders? Yes, sir. No, sir. No excuse, sir. Was Jesus a grunt, a Joe, a plebe, the original jarhead? Did the big guy send his own boy down simply to prove he doesn't play favorites? To set the standard, establish an SOP? Platoon daddy swears, I'll never ask you to do anything I haven't done. So we answer, whatever you say, Sarge. No excuse, Sergeant. But what kind of sick fuck sends their son, their kin, their blood, first to the desert, then on a suicide mission, just to prove a point? Who the fuck murders someone they say they love, tortures their own to send a message, to make perfectly clear who's the private and who's really in charge? Same guy who drowns 1,000 babies to punish wayward parents and shameless sinners. So you and he and him can keep your water, your flood, your baptisms. As for me, just leave me my desert.
Oh, damn.
I don't want to be a negative Nelly, so this is a positive poem, or at least as positive as I did it. This is called I Want a Child Who Doesn't. And this is about a little bit of something that gives me hope for the future. I want a child who doesn't look like me. I want a child who doesn't look like me. Skin as smooth as cocoa butter, or as raspy and unyielding as sun-seasoned leather. The tin of spilled coffee on dyed paper, bleeding and leaching into sprawling pressed fibers. Apologies for the fluid invasion. Hair straight as bamboo, or knotted and curled tight, or braids like battleship chains. Slender horizontal eyes that echo 100 dynasties, wet charcoal eyes and obsidian shoulders that leapfrog aboriginal archipelagos until finding a rock sturdy enough to support a fresh bloodline. I want to watch 100 nations rise and fall in their every sleeping breath. I want them to remember that 100 tribes battled to sear their skin with hieroglyphs, eternally etching their ancestry. Nouveau blue eyes bore me, staring silent out from every screen and ad, hovering above a thin-licked smirk, plumped into high fashion by bohemian photoshoppers. I wasn't in a NASCAR and Nutella household, but I must fake fawning sorrow and beg the forgiveness of my Joni Mitchell humming parents for abandoning my heritage of suburban exceptionalism by dabbling in a global palette swirling a brown egg tempera to announce a new covenant bound by a ribonucleic ribbon of monochrome mud and dirt that heralds the default color for the new millennium. I was going to do nature poem, but I think I did that last time. I've been ranting a lot. I'm trying to cut back. No rant November. This is called Corpus Christi. And one of the things I think anybody who writes, obviously there are things that are autobiographical that you write about. But I very rarely completely take something and put it into my work. And the reason is it's hard enough to write, much less to live this stuff. Like, I mean, Hemingway, yeah, you want to go out and do all that kind of crap. I don't want to. I'd rather just, write the one or two good things that he did. And so in this case, I want to disclose up front that my mother is not buried in Texas. In fact, she was cremated. So nobody can say, oh, wow, it's so autobiographical. Because I don't want to cheat. I want to lie a little bit and see if it works just as well. I'm trying to embellish the story of my life because, frankly, if it's just my life, I'm boring a few people up there that I don't believe exist, by the way. So this is called Corpus Christi. They say the two saddest words in all the Bible are Jesus wept. But what if that wasn't the case? It wouldn't be the first time that particular story was embellished for dramatic effect by a decidedly unreliable narrator, an omniscient observer commenting on the omniscient observer. Who fact checks that? What if by the time his skin had enveloped the spikes piercing his forearms, accepting the iron wholly as part of a revived body of Christ, and the thorns in his mocking crown had already been buried into the flesh of his brow, the seed and rambling roots of a reborn tree of life, milking his body from sustenance. So every teardrop was needed that he could wring from his tortured eyes to water this living and breathing new Eden of hope. Thus he could not spare even a single drop for himself. When I stood at the casket of my own beloved mother on a dry and windy Texas day, as it was lowered deep into part sand and clay, the droning of the preacher reciting empty spells could not distract me from the sound of sullen seagulls, teals, terns, and harriers soaring over Nueces Spray as strafing gusts of acid breeze gnawed into my granite face. I knew then that I too had no water to offer, neither to mourn nor revive, because in the end, even though every molecule cycles endlessly through the universe, when a spirit evaporates, it leaves only the faintest mark etched in bitter bone and salt. Mm-hmm. And this is my last one, then I will sit down and listen to the rest of y'all. So thank you so much for indulging me. And this is called Dining Solo. I called you my sweet cantaloupe, and you called me your weird avocado. Going out was an excursion. It's a schnitzel and flan and injera. We crisscrossed the globe, sailing in a shot glass of limoncello and ouzo. Food was always at the heart of our amore, and I learned that eating healthy was better than one-night nachos. When I learned that you'd begun to sample other dishes, I was hurt, like I'd swallowed a plate full of princes, chased by a snifter of ghost pepper salsa. Over time, my stomach rumbling softened into the subtle stabbings of hunger pangs. I nibbled at first, sampling the blandest of tapas, then I gorged myself at a buffet of salt and honey. I learned in time that too much too soon stars the soul worse than indulgence. I'd linger upon both bitter and savory, rolling them across my tongue like blackberry seeds. I now eat languidly, soft as a snowflake, biding my time until it's time for surrender. Yet every damn time I devour a new love, I still taste a hint of that very first spice to bring tears to my mouth. Thank you.
JW Heacock. What a spectacular feature set. Thank you. Wow. I've been waiting for that. Oh, y'all. Yeah. Divine love in this room tonight. I am so grateful for each of you. There are so many voices that I love hearing on this mic. There are also voices who are not on my list for tonight, who I have loved throughout the years, who have brought inspiration and elevation. And oh my Lord, I'm going to shout out just one, though. Just one who isn't on my list to speak tonight. Originally in this space, the person who welcomed me to Poetry in the Brew back in 2013, that was Chance Chambers. We've heard from him. And the person who welcomed me into the current incarnation of open mics here in Nashville was Honest Lewis. I'd like to applaud Honest Lewis and the night of free speech. Because he gave me a warm welcome and really got me on this train. I had tried it when I was a teen, but it didn't really take. So this time it was Honest Lewis. And I want to say thanks. Thanks for being here, and thank you for being here, Ash. All right. We're getting back into the open mic list. If you're not on it and you would like to be seeing me right now, we welcome and thank you so much, Dallas Whitehead. Is this your first time on our mic? First time on our mic!
I miswrote my name on that paper. My name is Dallas Delaney. That's my name.
Dallas Delaney, everyone. Woo!
That's my pen name.
Cool.
Okay, I have two poems to read, and the first one I wrote. I'm a thespian, super into theater, and I wrote this one after I watched Hadestown at TPAC.
Oh, I was there. Woo!
It was a really great show,
So good.
but I've been having this whole emotional realization of how I exist in our capitalist world and how that affects me on a day-to-day basis.
Mm-hmm.
So here's my poem titled The Contemplation of Commerce. The one thing I can voluntarily do is refuse. Refusal is bare bones. It comes before understanding. To accept is to deny refusal. If I could refuse the standards of our world, I would, but I cannot. Refusal of these is the refusal of life, comfort, ease, numbness. And yet this refusal is all the more enticing. Refuse injustice, refuse idiocracy, refuse greed, gluttony, pride. What good does it do to refuse? Does refusal make you an artist, a prophet, a poet? How can an artist save her hope when hope can't save a tightening choke? How can an artist save her heart when lies are told from light to dark? Propaganda to refuse, propaganda against refusal. Neither belief seems appropriate. On one end, you have a soul, a passion that burns against the cold. On the other, you have food, a shielded heart where emotions yield. It is easier, but it is the downfall, whatever I may say. I am a poor artist. I would like to stay poor. Riches would turn my blood to gold, and I'd be too heavy to dance. Practicality would reign. Love would seem more ironic. Solitude would seem more fit. There'd be no choice outside of selfishness, because any other does not equate to ease. This is what has become of Yankees, who once cried for merriment, who drank to the end of the war and filled their cup twice over, who shook hands with neighbors and played the banjo or fiddle, who sang the song of millions, hear me, see me, for I am clear. Clear now it is to me what has become of us. We'd rather be lonely than clouded in dust of hope, prayer, love, trust. Commerce crushes the poet's soul. It causes his words to cease. Like Jesus himself once said to me, love is the goal, my child, not ease.
Ooh.
Okay. The next poem is an epic metaphor for when I had to end a friendship with someone who was very toxic for me. It's called Don't Pray for Me, Tennessee. Don't pray for me, Tennessee. You haven't done anything wrong. I was born without a spine, crooked and pained, and you treated me kindly, gave me trees and a sky with golden light and views that made me cry. The atmosphere is perfect here. The air is clean and crisp. Breathe in, breathe out. That air. Take it in. Slowly. Breathe. Deeply. Breathe. Can you taste it? Is it rich? Is it thicker than water? Does it fill your lungs and make you drown? No, the air is clean, and yet I feel disgusted. Is it my tongue? Can I lick myself clean? Don't pray for me, Tennessee. No one can help me but myself. Yet people keep asking to help. I don't understand. I am a burden. I've burdened you. Your green hills that roll and beauty that glistens. Your birds that sing, I have listened. They quiet for me. In darkness you fall whenever I'm near. I understand that I'm faulty. It is my duty to change it. You told me so yourself. Can I disappear? Can I swim in your rivers, get drunk on the liquid, get high in the fields? Can I taint your presence like I've tainted my own? Can you forgive me? I don't believe you can. Until I've changed, I'm still the same. The same person who tore out your grass, who spit on your roads and pissed on your hills, who stomped on your stones, who took your beauty and made it her own, just to call you home.
Oh my goodness. All right. It's a long list tonight. I'll admit it. We see. We are so grateful for everyone. We want to hear from everyone. We're going to keep it moving. Oh my goodness. I'm so excited to welcome our next speaker. Thank you, Donna Whitney.
Before he leaves, thank you, Chaos, for being the first person to bring me to my first open mic. And for being the first person to call me a poet and being my
welcome, as always. So, not to brag, but I'm good at naming poems.
Yes, you are.
And just to prove it, I'm going to read a seasonal poem about elections, and it's called Election Day. And there's a little bit of nostalgia in it that goes back a little earlier than the 90s. It goes back to the 50s. Dietary fat is good for you. Yup. You can't absorb vitamin A or E or K or D without fat. Protein builds muscles and fiber helps you poop. But democracy runs on carbohydrates. Remember when Election Day started with pancakes at St. Mary's? And we counted the hours to spaghetti supper at St. Anthony's, where the sauce hugged the pasta with tomatoey hot passion. And you learned the meaning of al dente, in case they hadn't taught you at home. Everybody can't be Italian. Unless, of course, there's a miracle, and you wake up one morning saying, buongiorno, and flinging words like amore and bambini into the grateful air, embarrassing your children ever so slightly, but who cares? Democracy runs on carbohydrates. You drizzle your pancakes with syrup that only last spring rose so hopefully in the sleepy maples. Then, while you twirl your noodles, you marvel again and again about Mrs. Fiorentini's shoe. The one Bobby Kennedy found after it slipped off her foot out there on our upstate landing field. Imagine Robert F. handing Mrs. Fiorentini her pointy-toed flat with the gold trim. We would tell that for years and years, long after we had gone home and shaken the wisps of hay out of our hair and fed the dog. Surely there are carbohydrates in Mrs. Fiorentini's dandelion wine. You can taste that wine the moment you see its golden dance in the miniature goblet. You're half drunk by the time you hold the sculpted crystal stem in your hand. You know the grass was dewy wet when Mrs. Fiorentini slipped her practiced thumb between stem and blossom all over the yellow dotted yard. Her name means little flowers, don't forget. And you know she sang every day and danced too during the weeks of that blessed fermentation. And there was anaerobic glycolysis, and there was joy, and there was music. And although I can't be sure about this, maybe for a moment, there was democracy in America. And all that stuff happened. Even the miracle about waking up and being Italian. It happened. Yeah. Just ask my kids. This next one is also sort of an election poem, and it's called Om. Her whistle must be the train's Om, a sacred vibration to move the indwelling spirits of mechanical things, lawnmowers and kids' wind-up toys, my old white Volvo and older red Suzuki, and Denise's Honda. Lord, that car has to have a soul. There's no other explanation for such longevity. Every election, somebody rants about the soul of the nation, and then we forget about soul for another 4 years. Easy to forget, being invisible and all. You can't run it up a flagpole or walk it on a leash. The 2 a.m. train was the one that killed that boy a few years back. I prefer to sleep through it. The whistle rattles my windows, but not my dreams. Only the lawnmowers, wind-up toys, and aging cars bother to listen. They have no choice. A guy called Lucky rides the rails, lost a finger that way. Another guy lost his life. Lucky's wife needs insulin bad. I slipped him $20. The train whistle blows. The soul of the nation does not stir. And then I'll do a last one that's also about parting ways with a toxic influence. It's called False Empathy. When, I ask you, have I ever baked a cake from a box? The answer is never, 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 never. I don't drink instant coffee, I don't buy cheap wine, and I don't wear cubic zirconia. Why then would you think to offer me fake empathy? The astonishing fact that your clients pay good money, US currency, for your fake empathy never meant that I would accept faux feelings for free. Free stuff bears the biggest price tag anyway, a price I will never, never, never pay, not even for something I actually want. Ah, but you say, that stuffed blue whale on your bed is fake, is it not? And what about that crystal whale on your coffee table? But this is not a gotcha moment. This is where your imagination, like your heart, fails you. Because the crystal whale is real baccarat and was not free. Because the blue whale on my bed becomes the blue whale of my dreams. And in my dreams, she swims the 7 seas, swims through 12 months of gestation, dining on unimaginable amounts of krill, and gives birth like me, soaked in warm, iron pungent, and very real blood, feeds her calf with fat, heavy milk, and dreams her own dreams. Even if I didn't bake my cakes from scratch, even if my French press coffee didn't taste like heaven, even if the richest cabaret didn't fill my glass, and even if I didn't wear my mother's diamonds, and even if blue whales were not my friends, my blood, my milk, my dreams, and I would be much too real for fake empathy.
Donna Whitney, thank you for your heavenly and well-titled poetry. So next, I get to welcome, another living legend, no big deal, poet laureate of Hendersonville, artist and activist, one of my co-editors on this marvelous book that I leave here with tonight for the donation of your choice. Importantly, right now, we give the warmest, fondest welcome to Henry L. Jones.
Hey guys, yeah, we need a warm welcome. Cold night like this. Poetry in the Brew, place of love, place of acceptance. And this has all occurred because of Christine, who bridged many lives and creativity, and have enjoyed working with her, seeing her welcome new voices. And the new voices that are here, I'm saying, I hope to see you somewhere else, because I'm like, yeah, it always happens. A lot of new voices.
We're in the same space next month.
See, there you go. All right. So I want to share some of my work. Something magical happened. You got these technical methods of doing things creative. Maybe you went through some type of education or formal education. When I was young, it'd be this stupid joke called 52 pickup. Does anyone know about 52? Yeah. Everybody thought, there's always one guy, usually at a party. Hey, you want to play 52 pickup? What's that? I don't know. And then he'd take the deck of cards and he'd throw them out and they'd fly. All right, there you go. Pick them up. Real stupid. Well, I was trying to think what I'm going to share tonight. So I took all of my poems. I have my poems in these lamination things on my desk. And I said, I don't want to read this. I've read these things over and over again. So I went and got some new stuff. And then today I finished a new one that I've been working on. I said, I want to do that new one. But then when I went back to the old ones, I start seeing a pattern. I'm a pattern person. And I saw, for instance, a stanza of one poem, and I read it. And then I saw another stanza, and so on. So I'm going through like this little journey, one poem after the other. And I was like, whoa, that's kind of cool, because I saw this flow of thought, flow of consciousness of all these different poems on different pages. So I said, whoa, that's a cool creative activity. So I wanted to try that tonight and share my new one. How about that?
Yeah.
Sound good?
Yeah.
And everybody's here important. I can see in your eyes. Yeah, that does sound. Just take your palms. Don't get too constricted, and just try to connect. And I was like, the last word of this at the end of this stanza, I'll look for that word, and no. Just go with the flow and the feel. So I'm gonna try that. So I've got a bunch of those poems I put back in the book, and let's see how it sounds, or more importantly, how it feels. Now, I'm not going to tell you the titles because that's going to lengthen it out, and I'm not going to do a lot of it. All right. Stormy memories make blurry, heavy eyes. Loneliness drips into my lap, a pond of tears, wanting this dreary day to bring out the sun, needing warmth to awaken cold of the years. Dreaming of sand and waves rushing over my skin, glowing warm sun, feeling alive. Now, old drinking brandy, full-blooded, a calm invades my bones with warmth, bringing a hush, a contentment, like those stories, drinking nectar to rain on the castles in my mind. Playful games kill the dragon flowing inside. To create a nation of fear and lies, then forget, then like a nightmare, awoken in a warm sweat, dry skin with lashes to reach deeply into the screen, becomes nothing but an open mouth. The echoed cries of hope and freedom. And that's the new one. You go skip that. The wind caused his eyes to squint a little and become blurred like a whale. He was an ambitious man who thirsted for the right place to rest his head, to clear his head, laying in his wife's arms, holding her away from politics and surveying. Just washed away all the memories, feeling them, becoming them, washing them away. But we just smiled, still moving and changed motion into music, pulling out songs from our hearts, singing words from our longing, old spirituals of those waymakers. And last, boom. Only time by moments, games and joys we shared. Now you're gone, my sister. I sit in silence and just wait. Now, chances of duplicating that. So you might want to sit down and record it, and then hey, transcribe that. You never know. I've always loved the creative ways of expressing yourself. All right, let me share this new one. And where'd that baby go? Sorry. I put this tab, but of course. Oh, I'm gonna sit down if I can't find it. I just saw it. One more time. See, this guy should be together. Look at this. Pull out your phone, dude, or something. No, wait. Okay, here we go. So, of course, it's in the front. This is for the promised land. New man-child born, released from the folds of heaven, slipped past the flowing rivers, baptized in tears and pain, erupted, but held in the arms of joy, dangling cord of life cut. Now walk on your feet, on the world's diamonds you can't possess. Chase after those shiny dreams and hopes, a systematic lure dangling in your crib. Drugs hanging down on you, sex hanging down on you, the American dream hanging down on you, blue beatings hanging down on you, self-hatred hanging down on you, systematic racism hanging down on you, to play with my little child. Now smile, toothless angel, as you realize your naked flesh, pampered and soft, lies for comfort, really doesn't prepare you for all the shit in life, or how pissed you'll become as a target naked flesh reveals the marks of shameless etched with dull knives deeply in your skin. All the words from this country, you know the words and wear them proudly. When they call you and remind you to teach this child, you ain't worthy. So this makes the newborn scream in terror, torn from the womb's comfort until nothing is heard but silence in the dark, his darkness bathing in a tub of hatred to baptize you for your sins you never did, make you reflect in the mirrored shallows of yourself, seeking a balm for all those many cuts made by you or them. That bath tries to soothe your skin with a little Epsom for being what it is, just your skin, which doesn't seem to heal completely. Each wound found is a black hole, sucking life into nothingness, making you always feel empty. Even if you found someone to love, it's never enough. Blood or bone to make you believe you're alive and human instead of another sacrifice, brought to the altar hoping to just live. Again, sacrificed again and again and again. It's a sacrifice. Again and again and again and again and again and again. It's a sacrifice. How many must be done? A bloody waterfall streaming to the end of the earth where it becomes a crimson constellation, seen light years away, thinking this happened thousands of years ago. No, it's still happening. As the black hole slurps all the color to reveal a trail leading back to the beginning, to maybe show where and when the madness began. Then that man-child becoming and knowing who you are and not afraid to be in this world, pulled from your bleeding cradle. Why must this newborn be burdened to decide whether fight or die instead of simply living? Thank you.
Magnificent. Thank you, Henry L. Jones. We've had a lot of other special events throughout the years too. Most recently, Henry helped us set one up at Scarrett Bennett Center. We had a pop-up in September. We've got such a long list. I don't think I'll do a poem tonight, but if you want to come hear from me at Scarrett Bennett, I'll be there with an hour feature this Thursday, the 17th. So y'all come check that out if you want. Thanks, yeah. Next, we could welcome a voice we haven't heard on our mic in a while. And when we did, it was in the virtual space because we had Poetry in the Brew online on Zoom. But now, live in person, welcome and thank you, Cynthia Winfield.
Okay, good, thank you. So this is a book it's a novel in verse. So it's a novel, but it's told in poems, and it's written basically because of Poetry in the Brew. I'm bringing you the last chapter. Well, since I don't know most of you, I'll bring you the first and the last chapter, but I want to say 47 anyway of the 50 chapters got launched on Poetry in the Brew virtually, and you guys got me going so that I was able to take the poems from Paris to Singapore and hear from people in the chat saying, where was this book when I needed it? And, you know, things that got me to say, okay, I need to finish this and get it published. And I'm proud to say that this is yet another of those books that has already been banned at my home account.
Wow.
I did, yeah. Okay, so let's see. Preface, chapter 1. Snowflakes, Harmonious, chapter 1. Snowflakes madly swirling, dancing in the dark whiteness, landing upon my bare skin with biting cold one after another until I quake, shake, and shiver all alone, thrown out, abandoned. Jeremiah, my father yelled as he abandoned any pretense of calm, arms swirling as he moved to throw me outdoors, alone, into the inky midnight's dark. He kept my clothes, so here I quake while the snowflakes continue their biting. The cold is sharp, but it's the bite of his words that make me feel abandoned, so I shake, shiver, and quake. My ebony body curled amid the swirling blizzard atop the splintering picnic table in the dark, my buttocks freezing to the tabletop, alone. If only I were not so alone. If only people's words were not so biting. If only the days and nights were not so dark. If only I did not feel so abandoned. If only these snowflakes would stop swirling. If only my entire universe had not undergone a quake. Conversion therapy caused me to quake. The priests and pastors made me feel alone, telling me I was dirty and wrong. Till emotions swirling, I felt the depths of their words biting, scarring psyche and soul. I was abandoned, all alone, in the basement room, in the dark. But now I sit out in the dark, for I failed to reform, so here I quake. It's outside in winter. I've been abandoned. My family threw me out here naked and alone, and these snowflakes on my skin are biting. I am only 17, yet I need to be reborn. My emotions are swirling. In the dark, call me Harmonia, and I'll be swirling into joy. No need to quake, nothing biting, no longer abandoned. I'll be me, alive and alone.
Whew.
That was the beginning, and now here's the end.
Ah.
Chapter 50, As I Am Her Witness, Aaliyah's Chapter 7. On Saturday, the sun shone brightly, promising only goodness. When my school friend Harmonia drove us to a buzzing, bustling pop-up roadside market with limited venues open to the public, more folks will be selling from the roadsides this year. We were admiring some bright African dresses with beautifully flared skirts. In such a wrap, Harmonia's flair for life would be on display, so bright that passers-by could not help but admire, I thought. After all, she has such a zest for life now that she's living her truth. With such thoughts buzzing in my mind, I perused the wares being sold and imagined several venues where Harmonia might sport such a dress. Venues where she might display her exuberant flair safely suddenly. A yell disrupted my thoughts. Another had some idea to be selling. Underneath that sunshine, so friendly and bright, a harsh female voice spat out, "Oh no, Jeremiah, you did not." And my thoughts were buzzing, for I was with Harmonia, not her dead-named predecessor, and admiring her, not sexually, I'm straight, but admiring her person, her beauty, her being, as I've seen it in several venues. She carries herself with dignity and grace despite the voices buzzing. Now, here was an insult shouted out, a shooting language flare. In the next moment, Harmonia reached out, clutched my hand briefly, and then turned, her smile bright, if stiff, to approach the speaker to sell her own version. "Grandmama, woman whom I both respect and adore, be advised, my name is Harmonia," she said, selling her version with that glorious, gorgeous smile of hers. How can folks help but be admiring? Can't they see what courage it takes for a bright soul such as hers to walk these dark venues we call streets, where ugly words shoot vicious flares across otherwise lovely days, and where voices are forever buzzing in the background about, "Look over there at the he-she," or "the train," forever buzzing with mean-spirited gossip? Jeremiah, you were a Boy Scout. This, Grandmama, now selling another reality, one abandoned by my friend. That flare struck, I think, for though her expression didn't waver, her spine stiffened, and I stood, admiring her resilience to all challenges, great and small. In so many venues, every single livelong day, I imagine many mornings her days don't look so bright, with so many auditory insults bound to flare in her direction, yet she always faces the world with a bright expression, as she did Saturday when she concluded her selling point thusly. Grandmama, my name is Harmonia, and I'll thank you to use it in any and all venues where you wish to speak with me. Good day. Then she grabbed my hand, and we walked off slowly as if we hadn't a care in the world, least of all ignorant relatives. As we strolled, I buzzed with pride for her and all but glowed with admiration. The end. And although the book was published a year ago on the 10th, the audiobook was uploaded on the 10th. So it should be out within the next 10 days. And if you find the book, you will recognize some characters in it. For Mr. Alfred Gibson is sitting over there in the chair. Yes. All right.
Yay! Congratulations and thank you to Cynthia Winfield. Beautifully read. I need my I know it. I'm getting a little overwhelmed and clamped and all that. I'm holding, and hey, I get to welcome a poet who has done so much important work for this entire scene here that we enjoy in Nashville. Exquisite poet. Please welcome and thank you, Dana Malone.
Wow. This space. I'm going to read a poem that I read November 12th, 2016, which was at the end of a not so good week for me. But this is always a place to come and run into words and like minds, truths that we all speak. We've had people get engaged here. We've had people come and go. I will always take this experience with me. And this night, Christine, thanks. So this is the poem, and my musical references go back to Woodstock. So maybe none of you will get this, but this poem is called Riding the Crash Cymbal. And there's an epigraph by the late Levon Helm, was a drummer, toured with Bob Dylan, and then went on his own with a band. The epigraph reads, "Those bad times are important. They give you a chance to practice, listen, take stock, have a life, get your feet back on the ground, and maybe you'll live to tell the story." Oh yeah, Levon. Bad times are important until they thunder like the bass drum. It's over. It's over. And fear resonates pre-dawn hours, punctuate intermittent jolts and shivers, reminiscent of detox wards. And sometimes, Levon, no matter how hard you practice, you're left abandoned on the stage, think you'll never hit the downbeat spot on. No one will ever want to play with you again. Listen, Levon, listen real good. Sometimes consolation eludes, backbeats, love letters, wedged into sketches of lovers under shared umbrellas, cards full of quotes from poorly translated Neruda, get wells from Dylan, as if nothing to amend the wounds from a kit of knives slashing the bed sheets. High up from the best seat in the house, Can you hear the dissonant screams, the whole chorus with its ass kicked? Sometimes no soothing voice emerges from former homes, age-old maples ransacked, all the gritty comfort stripped. Sometimes, Levon, you just can't see you have a life, your first attempt to take stock. See, your house was a melody. Acoustic absorbs the story you'll live to tell. After pinprick stars stop dissociated states before seizures, like a wheel on fire, burning down the house that used to make you smile.
Oh.
And this is a song that was performed by the band at Woodstock. It also was a theme show for a BBC comedy called Absolutely Fabulous. So I've repurposed it for my absolutely fabulous friend, the goddess Christine Hall. If your memory serves you well, we were going to meet again and wait. So I'm going to unpack all my things and sit before it gets too late. No soul alive will come to you with another tale to tell. And you know that we shall meet again if your memory serves you well. This wheel's on fire, rolling down the road. Just notify my next of kin. This wheel shall explode. If your memory serves you well, I was going to confiscate your lace and wrap it up in a sailor's knot and hide it in your case. If I knew for sure that it was yours, it was oh so hard to tell. But you know that we shall meet again if your memory serves you well. This wheel's on fire, rolling down the road. Best notify my next of kin. This wheel shall explode. If our memories serve us well, we'll remember you're the one who called on us to read up here every poem until we're done. And after the last word is said, there'll be so much more to tell. In our world of words, we'll meet again and our memories serve us well. Christine's on fire, rolling down the road. I have to thank my goddess now before the wheel explodes. Thank you.
Yay, Dana. Thanks for making me a slobbering mess. You did it. Woo. Oh, that was beautiful. Thank you. One more time for Dana Malone. Cool. Whoa. Okay. I mean, y'all are my favorite. We've got another one of my favorites. Where did they go? You moved. You moved. And I have tears blocking my vision. Oh, y'all, welcome and thank you, Noelle Marie.
I am actually now hosting, which is so weird and absurd, awkward. But that's what happens when you start sharing and getting real and vulnerable. I'm hosting an open mic at Madtown Coffee. Friday is the last Friday of the month, so I think it's actually coming up.
Yeah.
But before I read anything of mine, the more important, I'm almost going to start crying already. But all poets are crazy. And James Floyd, one of my mentors, has shared that all poets are crazy.
Jefferson Street poet.
Yeah, and so he
he told me to come here and I was gonna go read and I thought he was gonna be here and it was like a long time ago and he didn't show up. But he wanted me to be brave enough to like come without anybody. And like here I am still. And I remember it just took me a lot of courage to be able to do that. And I shared about my bloody cunt. And so I'm going to be sharing about my bloody cunt again, but it's going to be more powerful because I'm here I am. But before that, I want to pay homage to James Boyd. Woo! All right. And my voice will not do him justice. Please look him up. And he's got a few books online too. If you have any questions, please come see me. I'm trying to help spread his word out. I think he'll have a book opening at some point. He's got a new one that has like photography with this guy he's made work with in Europe, and they've been like working on it for the past several years. And there's a documentary that's in the works too. So anyway, holler at me if you want to know more about James because he's amazing. Poets are crazy. They attempt to reach past the thin veil of reality and touch with their pencils that core of beauty that is the essence of everything. They always fail. Yet they try again and again, like a moth in its efforts to reach the flame. Upon an ocean of facts, amid waves of impossibilities, they float imprisoned inside transparent bubbles of dreams. And it's so hard for poets to make it among the same people because they're always wondering, while everyone else is satisfied, always frightened why others feel secure. And the only scars they have to show for the wounds that cause them so much pain are their poems. Poets are always laughing while others cry and crying as others laugh. And each poem that causes them to die is a breath of life. Each breath of life kills them. Poets know no language they call upon to make what they feel understood, yet people call them great and immortalize them for their inability to communicate. All poets are crazy because they know that if they achieve any success in this world, they fail to accomplish anything. And every time someone says to them, I understood that poem, they think to themselves, how could you have understood that poem? It wasn't written for you to understand it, but yourself. Then you would know how much I love you, though we've never met before this, and that would make you cry for me as I bleed for you. For only in a mixture of my blood and your tears can there ever be found understanding. So that makes poets crazy people who step on broken glass to keep from walking on flowers in their efforts to find something that will fill them as it empties them. Yeah, poets are crazy. All right. Thanks, James.
Whoa.
All righty. And so to follow up with that, I'm actually really nervous still. I don't know why. I've never read this one out loud.
I stopped sharing a lot of like my growth, or like I'm just really internal. And someone one time made a comment. You have a lot of promiscuous things on your stuff, and I just curled up, and like just felt really naked and sheltered and stuff. I'm like, fuck that. And really, the word cunt, like originated. Like, there's a lot about it, like Kunti. There's the Hindu goddess Kunti, and it represents like the word, like where a lot of this comes from was like beauty and power, and then it's like it's the most offensive word now, which is like mind-boggling. And I want to share that too before I share. In the Middle Ages, Christian clergymen preached the idea of a woman's genitals as a potent source of evil, referring to cunnus diaboli, meaning the devilish cunt. And so. So I'm just going to read this now. Okay. Cunt. Say it again. Cunt. A little sultry. Cunt. Say it again with a K. Cunt. Spelled with a C. Cunt. I do Kegels as I express the cunt, ending with the T like a cross. Men wear no crown, yet they pray for gold. Cunt, O Holy Father, the cunt shall set thee free, but you do not know what the cunt is, do you, Heavenly King? Our bodies are not your salvation. Yet I shout your name when I let my cunt surrender. How have you been called one? Only the warriors could carry such an honor. Why do you shame thy temple? Why must I clothe my breast? They feed the hungry. Why must I clothe my cunt? I felt no shame on my skin. I never cared to expose my nipples, but it dripped deep, deep in my bloody cunt. Empty wound, I hid my cunt until he called me one, just because love hurts. Cunt, he knew, not the divine entity. God bless him, God bless you. He didn't know the power of my cunt. Yet penetrating inside, I bleed unapologetically. Cunt, say it again like you mean it. Cunt. I am beautiful. Cunt.
Woo.
It's good saying that. This is just small. There she sat, raw and exposed, staring down at the muscles, revealing a truth. The shame slivered on the spoon. Just always wanted to share that. I just so much meaning behind that. So anyway, it was great. Thank you so much, Christine. I love you. I love you all.
Again for Noel Marie. Gorgeous. And yeah, check out Madtown Coffee because there's another good venue for ya. Next, I am welcoming up a poet who I think maybe hasn't on our mic before. And I apologize that I didn't check about the pronunciation of your last name, so maybe you will do that for us. Please welcome, thank you so much, Aaron.
Hey everybody, my name is Aaron Walpole.
Aaron Walpole.
You know, in elementary school, my teachers used to call me everything between whirlpool, washer, to waffle.
It looks like an A.
It is what it is. So I'm still trying to find my voice. This is only the second poetry show I've been to time here.
Yay.
So that's exciting. So yeah, I've got 3 very different poems to share with you, and what better way to start off than a poem about coffee. This one is called Seasick on Morning Coffee. Silky cerulean crests into foamy white, washing unto the sands like my morning coffee, homogenizing with the sugar that lay in the bottom of my cup. The scent of seawater is at stark contrast to the sickly sweet smell of my morning roast. How I yearn for your lukewarm embrace. The sting of coarse salt water is much more desirable than cold creamer blending bitter bites to smooth sips, tapping the tip of my nose as I savor.
Yeah.
Baristas craft these fine temperature brews, yet my energy comes from the idyllic sunrise, one that paints the beach hazy orange as if the sea met lava. The coffee's hot too. This next one I wrote on top of a mountain. It was a trip of self-discovery for my 21st birthday with my best friend. This one is called Cycle. Feeble fawn in spring at dawn, wheretofore hast thou gone? Growing pains that shard and mar, leaving any trace or scar? Hooves to the sky you weep, a stream of tears to bleed the sheet. Caught in headlights, frozen and blind, the trap of man has snared your kind. Comforts savored and shared en masse are shattered fragments of a gilded past, where once you frolicked in these forests you'd roam, carved now by those who took your home. Soon to be, your body will follow and guide you back to that sacred hollow. Unburdened by the fears of change, you wander free to live again.
Yeah.
Finally, this last one I wrote maybe a week ago was really hitting a low spot, and I felt like I needed to just take those emotions and put it into art. So this one is called Lessons. When winds of change bring echoes of the past, you learn too late, grow too fast. The mistakes you made up for, hardships you endured, with all you'd fight to make it all right. But would it be? Would it be that you got yourself in trouble again and tried to fix the issues you created, inflated by your situation because it added to the weight? And you waited it out, ice cold and stout as that Irish drink you overpaid for at the Halloween party. You had fun, sure, but that drink wasn't the only thing you were drowning in. Get your mind out of the gutter. Oh, wait a minute. Everything's in the gutter, crowded in clutter, and your problems are your only possessions. Guilty now. Confessions that you said by that box you dread, but you aren't even Catholic. Who knows? Maybe it'll help. Anything will when you're this low, feeling like you have one leg in a grave, other dancing at a rave. Tell me, what do you crave? Is it peace or is it life?
Oh.
Thank you.
Thank you. Hey, wow, let's hear it again for Aaron Walpole. Fantastic. And now I get to welcome, thank you so much, Timothy Appleseed. New on our mic? Are you? Wow, y'all, Timothy Appleseed.
Hi, everybody. I'm Timothy Appleseed. I earned my name by discovering what the fruit was that Adam and Eve ate in the Garden of Eden. And it wasn't an apple or an orange. And it wasn't a lemon either. But it is a sour fruit and most often turns quite bitter. Eating the fruit means getting attached to your concept of right and wrong. Mm-hmm. And so attachment is the eating part, and judgment is the fruit produced by the knowledge of good and evil, the tree's namesake. Forgiveness then is spitting the fruit up, and grace is leaving it on the tree, reserving judgment, or at least our attachment to it. And so spitting up the fruit looks something like attachment, fear of loss or lack, doubt, denial, ignoring, ridicule, anger, attacking, humility, embarrassment, humility, depression, hope, bargaining, sorrow, acceptance. And so if anger and attacking is the pinnacle of denial caused by attachment, then humility is the precipice into acceptance. And acceptance is the door into heaven, where wisdom and love abound, where compassion leads to fulfillment, and fulfillment leads to joy, and joy brings true gratitude and allows for contentment. And so the door between heaven and hell is marked contempt on one side and contentment on the other, and hinges on swallowing our pride. the synergy created when we apply our the synergy creates when we develop our skills around our talents and interests and apply those to our values. This creates the seed of purpose, and purpose is the fruit of life. But the path to the tree of life is obscured by the mask that we wear, seeking approval and validation from others. And so consider that Adam and Eve were naked when they were eating from the tree of life. Being naked means being authentic. And being authentic can leave us feeling vulnerable. Love is something we get as we give it away. We can make as much as we want. It's absolutely free and it lasts forever. But the best thing about love is the perspective it creates. Love is the lens that turns enemies into ministries. And so I'm just grateful to be the observer, the student, and the emissary of what the universe would do through me, not to me. And prayer doesn't change the world around us as much as it changes the world within us, so that God can change the world around us through us.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much, Timothy Appleseed. So great to make your acquaintance and hear from you tonight. And y'all, we want to hear from everybody. We're going to keep it moving. It's a long list, and we are keeping Patrick and the crew down there extra late. So please remember to show them your extra thanks by tipping in cash. And thanks y'all so much down there. We appreciate you. It's our last hurrah as the Brew. We welcome next. First time we've heard this speaker on our mic as well, Doug Hare. Yay!
Thank you. I appreciate that you all are an open church. And I'm bummed because it's my first time here.
Oh.
And I have much gratitude. Thank you. Life or a game. I'm a TV sitcom, mostly noisy and not really new. And this night's a rerun, run away and runs right through me. Time no longer a friend. It's prime time to change the channel and my point of view. And I'm tired of this brain busy bullshit, just yesterday's news. And now we're here, beyond I and you, in a field of sheer color. Black and white can be all that gets through, but your sound surrounds me like an ocean blue. I find a new to see to you. I hear my eyes feel a fragrance, screaming, we are free! Nothing can capture our souls.
Oh.
I appreciate all the courage you guys have shown me tonight. And I want to leave you with an homage to you. And Hafiz is my favorite. And I want to thank you for that. That was about my fake empathy, or me being fake without my empathy. I don't know. But, and the truth that heals in a place of poetry. I'm going to change some of the words because I think Hafiz would appreciate that. The vintage poet. The difference between a good poet and a great one is the novice will lay down their tool or brush and then pick up an invisible club on the mind's table and helplessly smash the easels and the jade. Whereas the vintage poet no longer hurts themselves or anyone and keeps on sculpting light.
Doug Harrow, thank you so much. Oh, gosh, why do I just not bring my list? I love our next poet. You will too. Please welcome and thank you, Zaxi.
The numbers went on strike. It lasted for a while. Maybe. It was kind of hard to tell. Let's just say on a certain date, I'm not exactly sure about, they asked for a certain amount of money, which I can't exactly say, but I assume it was a lot because we caved really fast. One Saturday morning with executives not sure what to yell on the golf course and no one else knowing exactly the price of coffee, we would have made the alphabet numerical if they had asked us. But no, they just had a small list of reasonable demands in their eyes. Now, here's the part of the poem where I would normally do a bunch of number puns, but one of the demands was residuals, and puns cost serious money. There were a few other demands. 13's asked that we kindly invite it to more things. 7, 8, 9 would like us all to stop making that joke if someone has already heard it. 16 doesn't want to be sweet all the time, and 42 would like a TED Talk. There is a separate list of numbers who would like to be free agents following certain baseball games, but that's for them and their lawyers' numbers to figure out. For most of us, we just need to watch out for the vacation days. If a train is leaving Boston going 100 miles an hour and another train is leaving Trenton going 90 miles an hour, only 10,048 is substituting for 90 that day, and number -12 is filling in the distance between the two cities. At what point is this mathematically dangerous? Because you can count on someone doing the math wrong. Oh shoot, that was a pun. I better throw in a sponsorship. Remember to try 0-calorie Power Bites, the only weight loss supplement actually owned by the number 0. Now, we all need to do our part. Reality is trying to bend to the situation, which is having a bit of a snowball effect, I hear. The letters have been sending letters to each other, and the fundamental forces have been trying to hold it together. But gravity wants to propose a strike, and then everything will be up in the air. There is a bright note, though. Maybe someone one day is going to call you small. They're going to say you're unimportant. They're going to look at you and say you're just a number. So smile back, look them right in the eye, and say, in that case, I better join the union. Maybe they'll call a strike. The cat is. No, says the teacher. That's a sentence fragment. The cat is blank. What is it? Well, pardon me, teacher, but from where I'm at, it's a little mean to judge the cat. The grammar's wrong, I guess that's true. But what did the cat ever do to you? And I, for one, am ill-inclined to make its being one word defined, as if the cat here has no soul because it lacks a specific role. Where do animals have all the luck? They eat and sleep and drink and fuck and don't have to learn to make a buck and never say my life must suck, for I know not my master plan where I'm going or who I am. Where is my place? Do I waste my time? They can live their life, no reason or rhyme. And that's the thing. Curiosity may have killed the cat, but the cat has 9 lives. So they can afford to gamble with one, run the risk, get skinned more than one way, and still come out the other side whole. Maybe I'm a little jealous they have options. But that's besides the point. Who exactly is this cat that we demand a purpose from it? What right do we have to question its existence? And what if it doesn't answer? Will we delete the incomplete sentence, hold the executioner's eraser high and say, explain yourself, justify your life or die? Why are you? You say you are. That's not enough. Who are you? What are you? Where do you go? I don't know. I don't know. Sorry, let's go back 30 seconds or so. Now, to the matter of the cat, tell me now what's wrong with that. And though it may not have a plan, the cat can go and cry, I am. Tom Jones may ask our friend what's new, and there's a million things the cat might do. Play the fiddle, see the queen, grab your tongue and flee the scene. Wearing boots, that's the truth, as it darts across the hot tin roof. Fight with dogs when the rain does fall. Maybe they'll dance the Jellicoe ball. They'll be in the cradle with the old maid. There's a lifetime of parts our cat has played. Tie them down with chains and locks. This cat clawed its way out of Schrodinger's box. And even the day its life is through, it need not justify itself to you. But forgive me, teacher, do not despise my son need to philosophize from your writing exercise. I just speak for a cat that truly, truly tries. And that's what gets us through the day, from the fear that's here to stay, the blank space that won't go away, run on sin's destiny. I want for you what I want for me, for every creature I can see, the truth that just might set us free. I say the cat is, just let the cat be.
Thank you, Zach C. I am so happy to hear from you each and every time. Okay, I know. This is what we're going to do, because just doing the shout out yielded some happy results, and we get to welcome now with great thanks, Honest Lewis. Some say he's trouble, but let me tell you, I think it's good trouble.
I'm a bit out of practice, but we'll see how this goes. Baby, and I know you hate it when I call you baby. There is no one I want to watch the world burn with but you. You and me and the apocalypse, and all your silent brooding, and my desire to turn everything into a fight, an apocalypse simulation. I don't know how things are gonna end, but this thing is gonna end, and it will be perfect. Maybe the dead will rise from their graves and descend on mankind, and you and me will be fighting zombies together, hand in hand, heart in heart, until the chainsaw runs out of gas, and one of us gets zombie bit, and you won't kill me before I become the undead, and I won't kill you before you become the undead, and we go on into this apocalypse, rotting together forever. And maybe all those religious types are surprisingly fucking right, and the sun turns black as sackcloth, and the moon turns red as blood, and the seven angels blow those seven trumpets and break those seven seals, and all the Antichrist comes, and blah, and blah, and blah, and then Jesus. Baby, I know you hate it when I call you baby, but we ain't gonna be raptured up to heaven when that tribulation comes. We are sinners through and through, and we ain't gonna be saved. So you and I will be drinking cocktails with umbrellas sticking out of them like that knife you stuck in me last week on the shores of the Lake of Fire with Elvis and Hendrix and Tupac. Hell is going to be full of people just like us. It might be global warming, baby, or peak oil, or smallpox, or terrorism using smallpox and peak oil and global warming as its weapons of mass destruction. Baby, we got ourselves into this mess with all of our coal-fueled, imperialistic H-bomb love, and we'll share a smoke as the world burns down around us, but we won't kiss. We are way past that Romo garbage with all of our double recrimination, hostile aggro, he said, she said, we said, they said, drama bullshit. I can see these cities burn in your eyes every time I look at you, and this fire ain't even started yet. You and me and the apocalypse. Few dozen million years after that inevitable asteroid hits and blows this whole place up again. Some distant paleontologist, likely descended from the evolutionary offspring of some small, boring mammal, will excavate us from the rock and find our fossils locked arm in arm. Your hands around my neck and my hands around your neck, just like we were the moment that asteroid hit and every other moment before it hit. This is love. It's unhealthy. But these are the end times, baby. And the sea level rises and the markets fall. And those magnetic poles might just swap position any second, right before that super volcano underneath Yellowstone Park blows up and covers the world in ash, and we all freeze to death or starve to death, or something that the scientists tell us is bound to happen sooner or later. Or maybe those rockets could launch after they've sent in those silos for the last 60 years. ICBM, baby. And I know you hate it when I call you baby, but you still want me to call, and I still want you to pick up that red phone and read out those launch codes. Mad Max love. We will have the best outfits
and the best hair, and one hell of a sweet-ass spike-covered ride, nitro-charged doom-run to Armageddon hot rod, fueled by nihilism and an ever-diminishing supply of bullets. We can cover everything's in the skulls, baby. You can declare this apocalypse wherever you want. We will go into the Thunderdome, two will enter, and none will leave. This is the apocalypse, baby. Neither you and I are getting out of this alive. You and me and the apocalypse. The world ends every time our eyes meet, and I can't hear those 7 angels blowing those 7 trumpets over the sound of our constant fighting over bullshit and things and stuff. Better to watch the world burn. It will be a good break from holding one another over and over and over as we do and can't stop doing, because you're right and I'm right and we're both right in a revoltingly obvious wrongness. As the world burns and the ocean turns to acid and the rainforests die and biodiversity becomes a thing of the past, and we just can't get past that, or a gamma ray burst that scorches the atmosphere, or those alien invaders turn us to food, just you and me fighting so much that we can't see a way through it. We probably shouldn't. You and me and the apocalypse. At the end of this, we will be the only two left standing, and we'll hate each other and love each other and hate each other and can't stand each other. But that shit will endure. Those stars die and comets strike and the dead rise from their grave.
My dear, dear honest Lewis. This shit means so much to me. That meant so much to me. Thank you. We now welcome another wonderful regular on our virtual mic, on this mic right here. Thank you. Hello and welcome, Carl Lowe.
Thanks. Before I start, I thought I'd just tell a quick little musical nostalgia story, since it seems to be in the air. In the year 1968, I was in Montreal, and I decided to hitchhike my way back home to New York, which was kind of stupid, but it's a straight shot down the New York State Thruway, and it was a summer day. Seemed like a great idea, so I got on there, and I got a few rides. One point, I got picked up by the police and then let go. That's the story. But then when I got pretty close to New York, and it was near Woodstock, where the famous festival actually hadn't been held yet, I got picked up by these 4 guys in a station wagon who were smoking pot. And we got really stoned. And they said, well, we'll drop you off a couple more miles south toward New York, but we've got one errand we got to do. So yeah, couldn't object. So we pull into the parking lot of a grocery store. I mean, we're all pretty stoned, very stoned. And I'm standing, and the guys I'm with get out of the car, and they put on these big heavy coats. I mean, it's about 85 degrees out, and they're putting on these big heavy trench coats. And we go into the grocery store, and I'm standing at the front wondering what's going on, and I'm looking, and the other four guys are going up and down the aisles stealing food, stuffing cold cuts, soft drinks, rolls into their pot. And I'm standing there thinking, how is nobody noticing what's going on? But, you know, it was 1968. And back then, there's no cameras, there's, you know, no surveillance. I guess, you know, people weren't so uptight about stealing stuff. And then next thing I know, they're all running out to the car. I jump in with them, and we're, you know, scarfing down the food. We got the munchies. And they took me a few more miles. And then the next car that picked me up took me all the way into New York. And it was years later. It was actually about 45 years later. I was living in Alabama watching TV, and I'd never seen the movie The Last Waltz. Yes. And in The Last Waltz, it's about the band. Martin Scorsese made it. He's interviewing the guys in the band in between the songs. It's a concert about their lives before and after they got famous. And at one point they say, yeah, when we used to live up in Woodstock before we were making any money, we were so broke when we needed food. We'd get in the car, drive to the grocery store, we have these big heavy coats because we're Canadians, and we put on those coats and go in and steal food. And I'm thinking, this is like 45 years later after I did that with them. And I realized those guys had been the bad, which I hadn't known for more than 40 years. It was like, okay. Anyway, so that's my little, one of my little nostalgia stories from the 60s. I have two short poems. One, I think I might have read it on the virtual Poetry in the Brew, and this one was actually published in Tennessee Magazine a couple of months ago, because I tried to write poems that they would publish, the kind of poem they would publish. And
Congrats.
And it's called Changing Seasons, and it's simply about going from summer to fall. And I have to read it without my glasses on for another reason I won't even go into. So it's called Changing Seasons. Already grown comfortable with the repetitious rhythms of summer, this afternoon I can feel a wrinkle of unease blowing through the trees. A slight shift of received sunlight signals the approach of the subtle subterfuge of winter. An undertow that grows more bold as each afternoon shortens, its flow pulling us smoothly towards the solace of cold thoughts that are waiting to awaken from their warm weather nap. Soon the memory of this summer will drift like an unmoored dream, disappearing among a fleet of neglected vessels, becalmed on a sea of abandoned expectations.
Yeah.
Thank you. Okay. Actually, this one's so short, I'll toss it in. It's called The Mountain's Mood is Rested This Morning. Impatient with the patchy, sporadic rain, the misty water skirts the sloping trees at first, and then changes its mind. The wind starting to swirl through the branches, the drops of water enlarging, growing more defined, but only briefly before ceasing abruptly. A sudden disappearance, it catches the mountain by surprise. Then, as the sky brightens, the birds among the trees embark on today's chattering commentary, discussing precipitation, fertility, barometers, and the blue streaks above that push aside the clouds summon the spring leaves to awake to their worship of the sun. Thank you. And a poem I wrote yesterday. It's called Looking Back, and it's sort of a political poem. Could be an old CIA guy reminiscing about his time at the agency. I don't know. Or, if Sam Beckett wrote his dialogue. So it's called Looking Back. Go on, browse the overstuffed file of the exonerated and the condemned. Examine the photos, comb through the genetic information, blurred surveillance, cutting-edge persuasion, charted ambiguities recorded just before the tide turned. Make of it what you will, and we can whitewash the whole thing in our black bag headquarters, AC cranked up high, windows overlooking the drought landscape, your attention span wavering as you question exactly when it stopped raining, and at which moment you began to doubt your own identity. A few nights ago, must have been a few nights ago, I dreamed of how it used to be. Terminations with prejudice, secret files written on acid-free paper, credibility to die for, patriotism sealed in those smoky antique glass jars before the offshore accounts began to fill with the remnants of high-priced consciences that could be redeemed with a press release. The meaning of flesh wasn't doubted back then. When you pinched a fistful of collagen, you didn't have to wonder which compass point would draw a pattern on the folds of epidermis or inflame the nervous system of our disturbed political ignorance. But now, the cloudless morning skies always yields to these worn-out, dirty globs of vapor and dust every afternoon. The wind slips mirthlessly through the half-eaten leaves caught on twisted branches. And we, the experimental people, have been trucked to the landscapes of desolate regrets,
huddled on the ground to witness the demolition of ancient sculptures, forced to sit on dirty sand as the murky ocean water begins its relentless approach. Thank you.
Hello, thank you. Thank you. We next welcome Naked Toes gal, Sarah Mingus.
So those of you that don't know me, I'm actually from Kansas City. And in April of 2021, after my 18th Kansas winter, and after surviving negative 45 below wind chill temperatures, I decided, forget that, I'm moving to Tennessee.
Welcome.
And I'm a UTK graduate, so I love living in Tennessee, and I love big cities and meeting lots of people from different backgrounds. And I was so excited to move to Nashville. And once I made up my mind, no one was stopping me. And Christine met with me at a coffee shop here in Nashville on my way back to Kansas City. And that's when we talked about my moving. She gifted me a Poetry in the Brew coffee mug, so I will cherish that forever. And this is the first place in Nashville that I came to, indoors somewhere, where there was a full house. I'm talking standing room only. People were on the stairs like they were tonight. And I realized these were my people. I had made a good decision, and this is where I belong. So it's with a sad heart that tonight is the very end of Poetry in the Brew. Although I also believe that when one door shuts, another door opens. And due to all the amazing people I've met here, I am starting my own poetry open mic events that will be the second Tuesday of every month at Bad Town Coffee as well. From 6 to 8 p.m. And it'll be a little bit different. I want to hear your stories. I'm a global speaker and life coach, and I care about people's life stories. So I want you to bring your stories. I want you to bring your poems or poems that maybe feel really raw to you, or maybe you haven't felt comfortable sharing at other places. So I want you to come share those stories. Eventually we will have features each evening, each event. So I definitely hope you can come out. And if you know the people that were here earlier tonight that had to leave, definitely let them know about that. So 6 to 8 p.m., the second Tuesday of each month, starting in December. So I just wanted to share that. And then the series is going to be called Bold. So I have two poems. The first poem is called Be Bold. And I lost my mom back in 2015, and I thought I was done with poetry because it was too painful to imagine writing a poem or performing it without my mom being alive to witness that. And my friends decided that was not going to happen. So 3 months later, I had my first featured reading, and the rest is history. So without further ado, be bold. Be bold. Hold on just one. Be bold. Be bold. Hold on just one. Be bold, she whispered, scrawled on the pages of her soul. Go forth and be. Be you, my majestic creature. Always be you. Break through that glass ceiling imposed on you by men. Wonder Woman style. Follow your Irish wandering hearts. Let excitement flow through your veins. 8 parts poets, 3 parts extroverts, 1 part introverts, with a pinch of well-timed sass, and the Anderson clan stubbornness to round it all out. Believe and you shall receive. Do things I never dared to try. Keep making mistakes, for that is how you will learn. Never sacrifice or settle. You were destined for more. Be pleasing without sacrificing your spirits your essence, your beauty. Love life for its exhilaration. Take the good with the bad. And sometimes eat cake for breakfast.
Yay.
I read the poem Naked Toes when I was at a poetry reading. I probably had a little too much wine and had my shoes off and wanted to write a poem about something that made me happy. I was hearing all sorts of other poets and they used a lot of imagery. So I thought one of the things that I love to do is drive barefoot. So that's how my Naked Toes poem was born. And I had no idea people would like it so much. It was the one poem I could get up wherever I was and perform it and loved it and really felt connected with the audience. So, and then I became known as the Naked Toes girl here in town. I'm also known as Wonder Woman, and I'm also a proud member of the Prodigal Poets. So if you're looking for another space or a place to perform, definitely come talk with me. And Brandon is here tonight, Francesca, Black Widow wasn't able to come tonight. So yeah, definitely do that. So, Naked Toes. I love to drive with naked toes. Toes pressed against ridged pedals of breaking speed. Arrest me if you dare. You repressed, uptight cop. For I bet you've never, ever felt the ecstasy of driving with naked toes. Thank you.
Yay. Sarah Mingus, Naked Toes gal, thank you. Y'all keep that Madtown coffee in mind. And anybody who has event news that you'd like me to post on the blog, I would love to share that as a parting wish. Just email poetryinthebrew@gmail.com and I will be doing a final blog post with a little bit of corralling of other offerings around town. And now we're gonna welcome, oh hey, somebody who's been with us for years. Thank you so much, Greg Slade.
Thanks, Christine. Thanks for everything. Opportunity. I spent about 20 years not doing anything with poetry, and it's because of your space that I kind of got back into it. So appreciate you. Changing lives. This poem has a title, but I've started calling it the Scottish poem. The experiences I had could be called mythopoetic, I suppose. My understanding, the narrative I was seeing, half true, half illusion, perhaps more noticed than proposed. Whether it was an experience of something external or internal was not the question, really. It was an experience beyond such boundary or definition. I cannot say with any certainty what I was feeling was anything more than my own construction. Neither can I deny the feeling of being so nearly completely overtaken by some impetus that was somehow beyond my own choosing. Cannot say which it was. Perhaps it's always both as we go, consuming the things we're consumed in. What I can say is that as I allowed myself to scroll from myth to myth, to live in one story after another, to combine them and distill them in a way, this alchemy of consciousness I experienced was a telling journey. I was able at times to feel ecstatic, utterly ecstatic, like feeling the kind of happiness I'd be hard-pressed to argue I flatly deserve. And the feeling that that was just my new natural state, ecstatic forever. I felt peace and love and laughed till I cried, danced like the only ones watching me were wild. Felt in the arms of something leading me to all this, which felt not as some new profound delusion, but as a memory, which I had been severed from in some way. It was this, I had lost my forgetfulness, as the ancients might say, enough to remember how we live within myth. Was I made to be the newest Sisyphus? Was my breed to be more like to the Icarus? Is that why my wings went away? That I might swim this abyss? Searching the darkest depths of what is, going where light is denied, to see how the languishing live, to see how I cry, how I lie myself, to see the pain from the love I didn't give. Saw so much, most would say it was just my madness waking up. I tried transcribe the lines of my mind's eyes more waking up, but the journey and the record and the source and the message, the split and the flip and the leaving of the illusion in the cup, the mirror, I fear it may have become too much. But I saw things, even being upside down, that mean some things, right side up, or however inside out. I was riding the tides of consciousness. Whatever other forces at play, I proved to myself the power of living the myth of your day, the power of poetry and logic for the soul seeking integrity's way. Every myth that I tried on had its positive and negative takes. What I saw in the end was the power of the mind to make its own waves. I could vibe with the positive side, writing the story that saves. Or I could try not to side with the sacrifice and try to call them one and the same. Not that such knowledge or kneeling is in vain. The thread is what I found in the pain. Is it all from chaos and toward it again? I cannot say, but I know now the key is to choose how we live today. What matter is the beginning or the end when we have only ever this moment to make? Still kind of parsing it out, but the story we tell is significant. We seem to live in some delusion of some flat reality we supposedly are all living in. But I see billions of powerful consciousnesses clashing and meshing, working it out, never giving it up, but constantly giving it in. To one myth or another, I see people who couldn't tell you their own story. We are the authors of our own existence, or at least we should be. Is it not we who have written our own version of history? I have seen in the myths these things that have bettered me, seen for me the need for even better things, coming back from the deep, waiting for the day to dry my wetted wings. The mind filled with heart is like to a holy thing, the inspired work of art, half imagined, half remembering. The soul of me speaking out in rhymes as though I'd never again be found at a loss for words, stuttering, not nearly knowing it all, but grasping at last the half of it, wrapped in the passion and reason of my most soulful uttering. Though I may not make it to my rise through my life in and out of time, I have seen the path of it, which has helped me and is entwined with me defining my own decline, deciding not to sink or to slide to the other side of the half-true mind, half-forgotten, half-blind, half-hearted playing only how we're plied, stuck in the truth of the illusion, unable or unafraid to open any other eyes to see the heart and mind aligned and unified, one with the illusion of truth and the truth of the illusion, dispossessed of our need to demystify, thrown away what logic and reason might best provide, chasing a feeling that just won't stay, feeling not half true even half the day, assuming the world we see is the same, forgetting it can be seen in so many ways. If we need the illusion to be true, then the truth has to be at least a little fake. Could we ever sleep or dream without dreaming of our own being awake? Could we ever wake without the sleep or feel so complete without the dream of such half-imagined, half-remembered scenes? To see the half-truth and the illusion of our being, to swim from the sea in which it seems we are seething, to crawl and then walk with the weight of some unspoken meaning, to dance and be only singing when you're screaming from your spirit's own breathing, imagining what the soul might really be speaking, remembering in a way that could be called believing. Maybe it's just me, but I think that's just what I've been needing. Who then shall deny my reason for being? Thanks again for everything.
Again, Greg Slade, thank you so much. We next welcome my son, JW Hall.
Hello, hello. 5 years ago, half a decade ago, a third of my life ago, My mom welcomed me here to Poetry in the Brew, and it was wonderful. A lot of things have changed, but the space has always stayed the same. The energy has always stayed the same. And I'm so grateful to be here. I love every single one of you, the old, the new people. Y'all are all beautiful inside and out. And I really appreciate y'all for coming almost every month for 11 years. So it's awesome. I wrote a poem 5 years ago in elementary school, back when I thought the worst. English was the worst. Back when I thought everything was the worst. Everything was so hard. But now I'm in high school. It's called Life. It is said that your life flashes before your eyes just before you die. That is true. It's called Life. Terry Pratchett. Now I'm reading a book in English, and I appreciate him a lot more. But just because I'm a Jew doesn't mean I support Judaism. It doesn't mean I don't like Hitler, and it doesn't mean I celebrate Hanukkah. Just because I love the ukulele doesn't mean I'm Hawaiian. It doesn't mean I get bumps on my fingers, and it doesn't mean I'm partly everything. Just because my father left me doesn't mean I cry about it. It doesn't mean I have a great father figure, and it doesn't mean I'm lonely. I'm surrounded by ones I love. Just because I'm different than others, what is being different? What is me? What is you? It's called life.
Oh, yeah.
So this one is about how I can't sleep almost every night. Help. I can't sleep and I'm sad. Why can people just move on, but I can't? I lay in bed staring at the nerdy things in my room that look like nightmares. Nerdy things like unhung posters, vinyls that I never listened to, Lego sets, old and new, and a Darth Vader mask that is too small for me. One time I had sleep paralysis, those nightmares started moving. I think about how I used to say yes to every photo my mom posts on her Facebook, but now I examine it and say no 90% of the time because I'm a perfectionist. I think about how could possibly anyone vote for an orange instead of the nearing corpse? I can't stay off my phone because I like escaping the existential dread that when I fall asleep, I might be dead. I practice singing because my voice only comes out at night. I watch documentaries and serial killer cases to escape my own life. I write poetry that makes no sense that I store up to view later. I read mythology stories that make me wish I existed back in that day of age. I think of things I did from 3 years ago that makes me want to gouge my eyes out. I try to avoid the thought of being a simulation because it's all I can think about. I feel so alone that I wake up my poor dog and cry on her until I fall asleep. I feel happier when I'm sleeping, even though I form bad habits in my sleep. I bite my cheeks when I'm anxious. I bite my nails, but not until they bleed like you weirdos. And I bite my shirt till there's a hole in it. Good thing I don't have long hair anymore to bite, though I still wish to be Tarzan. Oh no, I'm the weirdo. My dreams are so scary. They used to be about Chucky, but I got over it eventually. Some are about me living a happier life. Some are about someone I love dying. Some are about me dying. Deja vu is scary. Out of nowhere, things happen to me exactly how it happened in a dream I had one time. I have this one dream. It only happens when I'm sick. Whenever I have it, I feel like I'm there for years, decades, millenniums. I hate this dream. It's always in a village where you wait till it's your turn to go up till you can't breathe anymore, up to where you're supposed to go. You don't know where to go, but you're always close. I'm glad I didn't wear clothes tonight so I won't suffocate. Space is scary. It's so empty. People say it's full, but is it really? I'm almost there. Oh no. I'm like, there's a puddle of drool on my pillow. Sometimes there's a puddle of piss if the guy who gave my mom the seed that made me is in my head again. There's a growing pain somewhere on my tall body. My hand is hanging over the bed, figured in some sort of gang sign. My naked dick might have been seen by someone if they came into my feminine man cave. I'm not hungry for breakfast. I don't like breakfast. The most important meal of the day are snacks because snacks are the best. My dog isn't with me anymore. I slept in so my family and friends are doing more important things. I have to force myself to get out of bed. I don't want to be here anymore. Don't worry, I do, but maybe I don't. Help. I can't sleep. I have one last one. It's called Her Body. Her body calls to me. God, that's so fucking cheesy. It doesn't call to me. It's just a piece of art. I compare it to Aphrodite's, but it's more perfect than that. She wants to give it hundreds of hickeys all. She wants me to give it hundreds of hickeys all over. Are you serious? Is this high school? Oh wait, it is. I feel too mature for her. She always wants to talk. She wants to show off her body on FaceTime to me all the time. Whenever we try to hang, it always gets canceled. I said it's better that we go slow, that we create the already overflowing cup of sexual tension that could cut vibranium. She calls me a nerd. I am. I talk to her in poetry. She wants me to write a whole poem on her body. On my body, she points out my insecurities. She called my dick pointy. I thought that's how it's supposed to be. She has addictions that make me want to help her. Vaping isn't hot, but I let her do it. Holding grudges isn't healthy, but I let her do it. Slut shaming isn't nice, but I let her do it. I don't control her, but her aura controls me. She wants to get high with me, but I already get high off her. It's always nice to be with someone after they have a terrible ex, though all they talk about is how terrible they are. The second thing is always how much she hates her body, mainly because her ex made her hate it. What kind of spawn from hell would talk shit about the body that belonged to him? I forgot our country thinks that men get to decide what happens with women's bodies. She's always curious about my bodies, making me take tests about rice purity, BDSM tests that make me realize how vanilla I am, even though I hate the flavor of vanilla. She always tells me how much she hates her stretch marks, hair, eyelashes, teeth, acne, and more and more and more and more and more. I always tell her how she looks like a goddess to me. I love her, just her. Her body's a bonus. I'm glad she thinks the same about me, even though she doesn't exist. She is but a figment of my imagination, lost memories, dreams, and reality. We need to learn to love our reality as much as we love our dreams. I read that in a Norse poem. Maybe that's because I'm not with her. No, it's because I'm a theater kid. No, it's because I'm comfortable with my sexuality. No, it's because I don't know who unfollows me on Instagram. No, it's because I complain about our capitalist society, yet I do nothing about it like most of you motherfuckers. I still love y'all though. No, it's because I say I listen to all music, yet I lie death metal still hurts me as much as it used to. No, it's because I'm a white man. I'm so boring. The only thing I offer is my pointy dick and my useless knowledge. Knowledge that will be useful to the lady or man I eventually will meet. Knowledge that in the meantime, my friends and family will still listen to me endlessly share until they are bored to death. I still want to die before them. Death is so fucking scary, guys. I like to think I'm funny. TikTok says tall white men with big noses and are nerdy and funny should be bathing in women genitalia. No wonder I deleted that app. Love is dumb, and so is life. I don't know how to end this poem, but I'll start it here. Her body will be mine someday, but not in that way.
Oh, wow. Thank you, JW Hall. Wow. Please welcome my son, Tyler Smith.
I don't know when I first came here. It's been a bit. And I just want to say thank you all for making it what it was, and thank you, Silence Wordsmith, in the back there for, keeping the fire going. And thank you to my mother. Can everyone give her one more round of applause right now? I will make this quick. I have two very, very short poems, as in they fit one of these pages that is big. So first one is what I have decided. You guys may disagree, but I've decided that this is the lighter of the two. It's called Idle Threats. I will string you up with your innards, tear off your eyelids. You will watch gasping, no, choking on your final breaths as I peel your kith and kin like fucking grapes. I will ground your bones into meal and use you to fertilize my garden. That which you have built, I'll reduce it to rubble. I will then repurpose it as your pyre. I will lobotomize the collective subconscious and strike all you were from memory. I won't lose a moment's sleep either. All right, and my last ever poem at Poetry in the Brew is titled Farewell, and I don't usually title my poems, so here we go. Sentimentality is pain, nostalgia without purpose. I will not cry for its ending, I will smile for its happening. It's a microcosm of life, visceral, fleeting, inspiring, unsettling, and worth it. With its passing comes what's next. Take it as it comes, it hurts less this way.
Ooh, yeah. Wow. Thank you so much, Tyler Smith. Y'all, yeah. Ooh. We got three readers left. Thank you everyone for sticking around. Thanks for your patience and persistence. Thanks for your voices and your listening and the encouragement and the way that it exponentially elevates the more we intersect. Okay. I get to welcome back with great thanks, Via!
Hey, y'all. So I haven't been around in about 2 years. Been going through some stuff. But basically, it was really hard for me to come here tonight. And the only thing that brought me here was my love for Christine and everything she's done here. And I feel like I owe it to her. The first night I read was a night a lot like this. Everybody had cleared out. Everybody was gone. And I built my courage up. I was like, this is it. I'm going to read something. My first time ever. And so been going through a lot the last 2 years. And I haven't written a lot. And one of the last pieces that I have from the time when I was here a lot, I never read it because I was embarrassed, mainly because, shame from ego or for how we express ourselves or how other people have made us feel. And we take that on and we put it in our work and then we're scared to share it with anybody. And that doesn't really make much sense. So I'm just going to read it now because fuck it, it's the last night.
Yeah.
The Philistine wears red. And so she's beautiful in that way. My heart beams, but my face is not a pleasure center. My soul pounds like a drum for you. Even the most mundane of moments tear me up. The tenderness inside your true laughter, I swim inside that pool when times are tough. You don't see the blackbird. She's a hollow witch carrying potions and oranges. And I smile every time I see forgotten rhymes because I know you were there. I'm not the chosen one. I wish I was who she is when that decision mattered, but we're friends. A tapestry of beautiful moments. I live here. My escape from the dull pain of a warm bed. Please don't look at me that way unless you mean it. I'm overly susceptible to all your charms, and there are so many. The Philistine is a mystery tomb. She's not kind or warm, but her lips are full and holds your sun. My fingers tingle, but my body is not a pleasure center. Your sun sign lets me in your mind as it is mine. So the next thing I'm going to do, my last piece, is basically I'm just going to tell a story over what's been going on, but through poetry and just kind of as it's coming into my head. So we'll just kind of see how this goes. The cat's in the corner and I can see the sun coming in. She likes to bathe in that. I take comfort in that, but not much else. The water boils over and over and over and over again until the pot is empty and the calcium rinds around the edge are so hard to scrub. These little things that keep me going every day. I scrub and I scrub and I scrub. So you're here now. Now it's this part of the evening where I have to pretend like I like you and maybe I'll come and maybe I won't. And then we'll go to sleep and we'll do it all over again tomorrow. And I'll squeeze the cat and I'll look at the sunlight and the water will boil and I can't live like this. I won't live like this. So I'm going to change things and I'm going to do things that are scary and I'm going to move on. But what about the cat? And where am I going to wash these dishes? If I have to go
somewhere else. But I have to go somewhere else. A tall lady, scary, fierce, purple hair, piercing eyes, chases me through the streets. I'm running, and my brain is rich with acid, and all the thoughts, oh man, they're doing this. And why is she chasing me when I said, leave me alone? I just desperately want you to leave me alone. So I move on. I move through the streets. There's no more lady chasing me. The cat's lost a little bit of hair, but still kind of seems to be okay. And these days, instead of a pot full of boiling water, it's rich soup. And I can eat that and it can nourish me. And I don't have to wonder about if I'm going to come or not because I'm just so high on everything I've created. Thank you.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Thank you. Next, I do believe we are inviting someone to the mic who hasn't spoken on this mic before, and I again apologize for not getting your last name before we started, but I do welcome and thank you, Ian.
Kavnar, yes.
Kavnar.
Yeah.
Ian Kavnar, yes.
So, yeah, that's perfect. Thank you. So I want to thank everyone for having me tonight. I've never performed this poem before, and it's an embarrassing one. And whenever I feel embarrassment, I think about one of my favorite lines from the artist Wayne White, that beauty is embarrassing. And so I try to comfort myself with that whenever I feel embarrassed. That hopefully if I'm feeling embarrassment, hopefully that's some indication that there's something beautiful here. So this is a poem called Touch. I want our notes to weave in close harmony as we sing in sensations. Let us not hide behind clothes nor metaphor. I want to touch you gently and patiently. I want to let you explore being touched with no expectation. I want us to sit before each other and accept each other's existence as natural and beautiful. I want to smile bashfully at each other as we are naked together for the first time. I want the experience of making you feel good. I want the honor of making you feel safe. As a lover and as a friend, I want permission to fantasize, idealize, and admire. I want to feel your lips against mine. I want to feel your lips moving to know mine better. Can we just touch each other like teenagers? I don't mean with fervent, impatient lust. I mean like teenagers whose hearts still pound visibly in their chests just because someone's fingertips grace the surface of their eager skin. Even if I get to touch you, it's affirmation enough for you to understand what motivates me to want to. My heart pounds as I ponder the possibility of permission, accepting my affection, dissolving my inhibition. May daydreams grow in lifelike ways. May your body know that my touch is safe. There are things that words can't communicate. The word is just a name for the sensation. Is this projection, or do I know the comfort you crave? An invitation to surrender, a place to be safe? Is this projection, or do I just know you? May I please just show you? Thank you.
Ian Kavnar, thank you. Okay. Before I introduce our final speaker on the open mic tonight, one more hand for our featured JW Heacock. For all of you for hanging out, each and every one of your precious voices. For Portland Brew East, Patrick and the crew hanging out so extra light. Thank you so much. Now, our final speaker on the open mic for tonight. Y'all made it. Our final speaker on the open mic for tonight is your next host of the second Saturday Poetry Open Mic at Portland Brew East. Please welcome glorious poet in her own right, Silence Wordsmith.
Thank you, Christine, for that introduction. Oh my goodness. Okay, so yeah, I'm glad we had such a great turnout tonight. Oh my goodness, this was packed. I mean, I shouldn't be surprised though with it being the last brew and all. But yeah, I was just sitting downstairs by the exit trying to make sure every single person here, every single poet gets a business card that I made for Writer's Wart, and I have a new email address set up. It's wwmc2022@yahoo.com. Please email me if you would like to feature, if you have any questions, any suggestions. But it will be the second Saturday of the month, same time. Sign up at 4:30, show time at 5. So same bat time, same bat channel. And yeah, so make sure you get a card before you leave. So yeah, tonight is very bittersweet for me because I like to thank you, Christine, for this opportunity. It's a dream come true. I mean, before I even came to this place, I was secretly dreaming about hosting an event like this. And then, here I am. It's just like, I guess some dreams really do come true. So this place had my heart from the start. It really did. I can't imagine not coming here. It's just like a home to me. Like this table, for example, like this full table, like it takes me back to my childhood because I remember whenever I was 15, I was reading poetry to my grandmother, and we had this full little table in her kitchen. So it's just like home to me. And that's actually how I got the name Writer's Wart. Whenever I was 16, I developed this bump on my ring finger, and I was like, what is this? And then my grandmother, she was like, that's a writer's wart. And that's a callus you get, not actually a wart, but a callus you get on your finger when you write really hard or you do a lot of handwriting. So you don't see it as much anymore because everyone just types now. But I still kind of have mine. But anyway, I promise I will continue to keep this a sacred place where you can just have this brave vulnerability, fill this place with poetry. And I guess that's pretty much all I really have to say. I don't have a poem for tonight, just a message, but I do have something planned for the January reading, so we'll see how that goes. I guess that's all I really have to say. Thank you everyone for coming out tonight and supporting all of us. Thank you.
One more for Silence Wordsmith. Woo. All right, so I'll see y'all here next month. And if you want, we've got 6 copies of Sinew, our 10th anniversary anthology. It's so good, y'all. We have so many amazing local poets in it. And Honest Lewis has a word. You really want a poem?
The last poem has to be you, please.
Okay. All right, and also, I'm going to plug it one more time. Thursday, November 17th, this fucking Thursday, I get to feature at Scarrett Bennett Center. It would mean so much to me. Any of y'all that want to join, that'd be magnificent. Let's party down, poetry style. I'll do this one. It is in the book. It's called Ninth Life. Let's see if I can. We'll try. Ninth Life. Like not being able to make eye contact with Sorry. In your clown suit, with the broken handle and scraped knuckle, you loom in the doorway, in rage against the machinations of humanity, disguised as your fight to consume.
to be consummate in this consumption, and to be consumed. The top notes of gasoline and coffee mingle in the street. If you're gonna show me the same shit you've shown me 1,000,000 times, show me this shit. A fool's grin, a leer, a nonsensical whim. I live at the brim, entertain guests with sips, drafts, synthesis, pulled from a wide selection of ingredients and well mixed to muddle specific influence. This one's trailer trash is the same one's treasured childhood past. See my foolish grin and raise me one that's menacing. Teeth are the foundations of life. We cleaned our trailer up real nice. Our folks fled theirs for a false reality already. Daddy smoked crack. Mama was bulimic. I'm a bleeder. I pop zits, slash my wrists, have heavy periods. Bloodletting is a fine cure for no problems. For instance, the shadow of melanin above my lips, age spots, the lives our livers have lived to the fullest. It's only through self-esteem this low we come to accept. We are infinitesimal and the infinite. We are neo-ranch carnival. We boldly go into the common grounds to track down our individual piece, shed our kidskin pajamas, strip foolhardy control mechanisms, those that were generated before we knew enough to be embarrassed of our own tastes, our gut instinct based on bacterial profiling. We wield our meddling with gall to call it good intentions. Hell in heels skips along gold bricks on the way to grandma's and over the sticks. Red hands carry the basket. Red hands hold the purse strings, pull the strings on mama's red apron. Mama's in bed with the butcher man, mining teeth, minding which wolf she feeds, tying the pieces of her heart with string, packages of meat meant for giving. He drinks to dull himself to the jagged edges of his broken heart. I make certain my own death is flavored with numbness. And you, Carnegie, Jester King, king of bullshit, eponymous king of Hades, I view you as a little more fucked up than me, which means I'm more fucked up than I'm willing to see. Now y'all, go take your voices and project them out into the world. I love you so much, and I'll see you around. Thank you, Poetry in the Brew. Thank you, founders. Thank you, Portland Brew East. Good night. I know you like church, so there'll be something to it, and it's maybe something like on the back. It'll be fine. I know. This is I don't know. She said it Thanks for you. I respect you. I appreciate you.
Oh, you had that other thing? Oh, cashew?
My love. To get bucks, everybody. Come on, there's only 6 of them. I'm here for a reason. All right, love y'all.
Can I video you?